is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
They just remind me of us. They got great receivers outside. They have a very good quarterback who can get the ball to those receivers. And they have a great talented running back. So we just have to be very sound on the defensive side. We have to be able to tackle. We have to be able to cover in space. Then offensively, we have to be able to run the ball. It all starts in the trenches. We got to be able to run the ball. I feel very confident with Caleb Blackwood from Rickland Holmes and Sincere Overton and also Davion Simmons that we can be able to make that happen.
I can definitely understand that.
Yes, sir.
So watching the Hornets, when you start out the game, is there anything that you want to, focus on specifically early on?
Well, we just got to set the tempo, and we got to be able to handle adversity as well. You never know how the game is going to start off. We want to have a fast start. If we get the ball, offensively, we want to come out and establish a run, but we also want to be able to take some shots, be able to make them respect our receivers in our passing game. So whichever way it goes, if we're able to move the ball, great. But if we have to punt it, we have to be able to be patient, knowing it's a four-quarter battle. Then defensively, we can't give up big plays early on. Last week, I feel like Pryor got a great start on us. I feel like it kept us winded, and we never caught ourselves. So we got to be able to handle each adversity that handles on both sides of the balls and be able to have a fast start on offense. And if we don't, be able to handle the adversity that doesn't come with it. Then defensively, we got to stop them. But if they do make plays, we got to be able to know it's a four-quarter battle. Then we got to be able to handle that as well.
I totally understand that.
Absolutely.
So this is the first-round playoff.
Yes,
you
sir.
and I have both been in situations like this. You know, this is the thing that we kind of get up for.
Yes, sir.
You played Booker T quite a few times.
Yes, sir.
So is there anything specific with the players in this first round going into that you had a message sent to them?
Well, the message to me is just like, hey, if you lose, you don't play tomorrow. It's pretty simple. Everybody knows that. Obviously, you want to focus on the game. You want to have confidence that you're going to win. But all week we've been talking about the other side of it. Hey, what happens if we don't win? What's the feelings and emotion that comes with that? So with that as emotion comes fear. So that fear shouldn't make you play on your heels. It should make you be like, hey, I'm backed up in the corner. I got to go take care of business, get this done. So we are able to practice tomorrow. We are able to start to break down film and prepare for the next opponent. So fear shouldn't make you play back on your heels. The fear should make you push forward and be able to take care of business so you're able to play tomorrow.
All right.
Yes,
Great
sir.
message, sir. I hope you wish the best of luck today.
Yes, sir.
Have a good game, Coach.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, Cole, back to you guys.
All right, Gordy, thank you so much, and good job on the interview. Apologize, folks. Not sure what happened at the very beginning there. Our sound was just not coming through the system. Wasn't coming through my headset either. But good evening. It's playoff football time on the Oklahoma Sports Network. I'm Colton Fleetwood. That was Gordy Jones down there on the field. I have Blake Unruh here on producer, and Cedric Brosi and Jacoby Brosi will be splitting camera duties tonight. We're on the countdown to kickoff, brought to you by Precision Nutrition of Del City. For all your nutrition needs in one shake or tea, come to Precision Nutrition at 4603 Southeast 29th Street in Del City. You can also order over the phone by giving them a call at 405-672-0999. Del City and Booker T with a rematch in the playoffs this season. They played in week 2 technically, I guess, for both these teams. Both of them had a week 0 game, and then they had a bye week going into their week 2. So these two teams, both in the first matchup, I think were young, especially Booker T. And Booker T got the worst end of that deal. They lost that game 38-7. Del City's Caleb Blackwolf had a huge football game, a couple big punt returns. I think he ended up with 4 total touchdowns in that ball game. And for Booker T, this team has gotten a lot better since then. They have started working in some new players, some new faces. Of course, Michael Washington is still going to be the guy they want to get the football to, but their quarterback they've been giving a lot of reps to is a freshman quarterback named Max Houston. He might line up at receiver as well tonight. They will play quite possibly 2 quarterbacks. Levi Brooks is the other one. He's a senior. But Max Houston has been getting a lot of reps at quarterback, and he has really helped and really grown with this football team. They have gotten better defensively. They've gotten more physical as the season has gone on. So Del City will not be seeing the same Booker T. Washington team that they saw earlier in the season. This will be more of a challenging game, than it was earlier in the season. With Del City last week, lost a heartbreaker against Pryor. That score 51-35, even closer than that score represents. Del City was just going for 2 to try to tie the ball game up with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and from there they kind of let it slip away. There were some calls in the game that did not go Del City's way. One of them brought a touchdown off the board. Another one brought a huge gain off the play, off the field earlier. So a couple penalties that were questionable, to say the very least. And you got to move on. And I think that's what Coach Jones was. His main focus is time to move on, and it's very simple. If you lose, you don't wake up tomorrow and play football. You're done. You move on to off-season or the next sport, basketball or whatever, wrestling or whatever the case may be. So it's a big game tonight. It's a big playoff matchup. There's a lot of big playoff matchups throughout 5A. We'll talk more about those as this game goes on. It's playoff football on the Oklahoma Sports Network between Del City and Booker T. Washington. When we come back, we'll have keys to the game. We'll have starting lineups, and we'll also have the coin toss. Stay with us. You're watching Eagle Football on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business. And always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rollovers. If you've been in a wreck, don't hesitate to call us. This is why you need our number in your phone.
This could be you! When you call our firm, you're going to get one of us, not some paralegal or office manager. Most lawyers, they take more money than their clients. Most of the time, a lot more. We don't, and we guarantee it.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. Playoff football, Del City and Booker T, Washington. I'm Colton Fleetwood alongside Gordy Jones. And, Gordy, that was a great interview down there on the field with Coach Jones. And I think I sensed it, at least, that Coach has a level of confidence tonight that we've seen a lot of the last couple of seasons. And I don't know, did you feel the same way?
I definitely felt the same way. Talking to Coach Jones, you could tell that the first thing that he said was that they had a really good week of practice. And then, once the coach, has that confidence, that their team is just well prepared, you can just see, like I said, it written all over his face, the confidence that he had in his team and the confidence that he had in the rest of the coaching staff going into today's game. He didn't seem like that he had any doubt, whatsoever, that Del City would come in and handle business. And like you said before, like, having that aura, and having that, mindset that Coach Jones is, contagious. Talking to the rest of the team, you could tell, like, the message that he spread, the work ethic that Coach Jones has, it resonates with the rest of the team, So I think going into today's game, even though they have played Booker T before, and like I said, you're getting a whole new ball team today, I think Del City, having a good practice under their belt, having the confidence in themselves that they've done this before, I think they're going to this game with a totally different mindset that they got to come and handle business, and I think Coach Jones and the rest of the coaching staff try to reiterate that as much as possible, that this is a business trip. They are at home today, and they're really comfortable here, that it's been a while since they've been able to play here, in a playoff game. So I think these guys are so well prepared that I think we might see a different Del City Eagle football team today.
Yeah, I think, what you just said is right. And the thing is about Booker T, I talked about this before we went to break, that this is a different Booker T team than what it was in week 2. This team has gotten better, and they've got a quarterback that it was a freshman. He actually got his first action against Del City, and he's starting to play more and more. You think about that as a 14, 15-year-old kid. That's their first time seeing action that fast,
definitely,
especially. And so now he's able to get into the football game consistently throughout the season, and now we're all the way in the playoffs. He's got to have a level of confidence, and the game's got to be slowing down for him a little bit too. So Booker T should be more prepared this game than they were earlier in the season, but Del City has gotten better as well, because they have a lot of youth on their football team. So, folks, we're on the countdown to kickoff, brought to you by Precision Nutrition of Del City. And, Gordy, let's go ahead and go over our keys to the game, which is brought to you tonight by Keyline Mag. The stars of tonight's matchup aren't just winning on the field, they're hitting the headlines too. Keyline Mag will be featuring these amazing athletes, so check them out at KeylineMagOnline.com. You can subscribe for updates and keep up with even some of our player of the games that we have here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Gordy, what do we got?
All right, thanks, Cole. I appreciate it. The first key that we'll get into today is the playoffs, and this is a serious business. And like we talked about before, this is a visitation, by Booker T, that these guys are coming with a totally different mindset, a totally different team, like we said before. So it has to be consistent, and we talk about consistency all the time, but the main thing that we have to focus on today, if I'm the Del City Eagles, is the penalties. Cole, it's killed us. These last couple of weeks, we've had, a lot of cleanup behind that, but last week we were able to witness Del City actually suffering a loss because of these penalties that they were, able to acquire. So it's one of the things that, they really have to focus on is making sure to take every play, one play at a time, and focus on executing that play the right way. So the first key is we have to limit the penalties. We have to clean that up in order to be successful on the back end. So the second key that we have today is that you have to be careful in these defensive sets. And the reason why I say that is we talked about it last week, and we had a really good discussion about playing man versus zone coverage, on the defensive end. And when you play in the man coverage, it can be very dangerous, and like I said before, playing the zone can sometimes be dangerous, but you're going to have to do both. And you're going to have a lot of help over the top sometimes when you're dealing with some of the speed of some of these receivers. And so, like I said, we have two quarterbacks with Booker T. They have Levi Brooks and they have Max Houston, and both of these guys love to air the ball out. They have really good receivers, especially in Michael Washington. They have, like I said, a plethora of receivers that these quarterbacks are going to air it out. So if I'm the defense of Dell City, they really have to be aware, when they're running these coverage, if they decide to go man-to-man, that they really can't give up any space. If they decide to get zone, they really have to make sure and play that zone coverage, the best way capable, and they have to make sure and cover over the top. So that is the second key to the game. So the third key that we have today, and we'll talk about it, and I kind of mentioned it, this is a different team, and we talked about that earlier. This is a different team from the first time that they played. So Dale City has to be prepared for the team that they have to play today. They've had, a little bit of momentum, Booker T, since we have gotten back, into this, depth of the season. So Booker T has a quarterback, of course, like I said before, and Max Houston, the young freshman. But Levi Brooks probably will start out and getting these guys started. But like I said before, Booker T has come with the brand new confidence, and they have a team that really has started to gel towards the end of the season. So Dale City has to be prepared, knowing that this is not the team that they played the last time. They have to be prepared and focus on winning this first playoff game and playing Booker T like they've never seen this team play before. And that'll be your three keys to the game.
Very good. I love it. And I agree with all of those. In fact, you kind of, Gordy, it's like you were in my head.
Well, we know each other well, Coach.
That was really good. No, we do. We've gotten to know each other really well on all these road trips that we've been taking.
No doubt.
If we win this game, there's a good chance we're going to have another big road trip next week, but to the opposite part of the state. We'll be headed to Lawton, it looks like, as long as Lawton MacArthur can take care of Noble tonight. Either way, that's a trip south if it's Noble or Lawton Mac. But, Gordy, the starting lineups are brought to you by our good friend over at DC Transmission. His name is Tom Fisher, and he's a Dell City graduate. He's been serving the community for 48 years. He's located over at 4737 Southeast 29th Street. His phone number, 405-677-7454. And listen, here's the deal, folks. Nobody wants your car to break down. That's one of the worst things that you can ever have happen. It makes you late to work. It causes issues getting your kids to school, whatever the case may be. It's a pain. But if you have it happen, it's not cheap. And so if you're going to spend that kind of money to have a car fixed, you need to take it to the guy you can trust, and that guy is Tom Fisher. Tom Fisher is a trustworthy guy, a good guy. He'll take good care of you, and his guys at his shop do a tremendous job of fixing their vehicles over at DC Transmission. So some of the key starters for tonight's game, again, Coach Jones talked about it. Dell City most likely will play two quarterbacks again tonight. You'll have Simmons, you'll have Sincere Overton as well. And at receiver, Josiah Chester. He has been, in my opinion, the best receiver in all of 5A. This guy has been dominant all the way around. And quite frankly, his numbers may not even show how dominant he's really been. He has been open almost every time he's gotten the ball thrown to him. It's just been a matter of actually getting the ball to him. So that is a key. But also, again, we've talked about it the last 2 weeks, Gordy and I have, that Dell City needs another receiver to step up as that number two. It's looking like that's being Nicholas Holmes, who's starting to make those plays. Walter Franklin's another one. Those two guys both have stepped up as the second and third options at receiver. And, of course, both those guys have to play defense. They are both corners, and they have to play both ends of the football. The defensive line, somebody that's really been playing well, Devin Joseph, a sophomore who's made a lot of plays. Basil Gunter has been injured, so there's been some guys have to step up. And one of those guys that has stepped up has been Jalen Andrews, another sophomore. He had a couple key pressures last week, so we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. And Draquan Wright, of course, the middle linebacker, and Ricklin Holmes and Caleb Blackwolf. How could I forget those two guys? Those are the last two guys I mentioned, but it's not for any other reason other than they are also really good. So, anyway, Gordy, that's our key starters for tonight's game. We've got about 10 minutes until kickoff.
Yep.
Dell City's band is just about to play the national anthem, but I got a text message here, and they are correct. I was wrong. I was saying that earlier. I said if no matter who wins, we'll go south. That's not the case. If Noble beats Lawton MacArthur, we'd have another home game.
Okay.
I misspoke on that, but I don't foresee a Noble win tonight.
Right.
I do see Lawton MacArthur coming out on top. So
I understand.
I'm going to send it down to the national anthem, folks. It might be just a moment, but bear with us. We'll have the national anthem by the Dell City Marching Band.
At this time, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Del City High School Navy Junior ROTC. Performing tonight's national anthem, your Del City High School Screaming Eagle Marching Band. Please remain standing until the colors are retired.
Very well done, as always, by the Del City Marching Band, playing the national anthem. Junior ROTC also providing the flags for us. We appreciate them. And again, folks, we're on the countdown to kickoff, brought to you by Precision Nutrition of Del City. For all your nutrition needs in one shake or tea, go to Precision Nutrition. I went there last week and enjoyed one of their shakes. Got a cookies and cream shake, which was, I just couldn't believe it, Gordy, like how it actually tastes like a cookies and cream shake, and it's healthy.
Man.
Like a lot of vitamins and things like that. And then the tea really did give me a boost of energy. You know, it made it to where I didn't need to stop. I usually stop at like a Sonic and get a big Route 44 Diet Coke because I need the caffeine. I'm not a huge coffee drinker.
Same.
Well, I didn't have to do that day. I was able to just drink that tea, and it gave me a lot of energy. So check them out. If you've never tried their products, go to Precision Nutrition. They've been a sponsor of ours all season long. They'll take good care of you. And, again, there's never a better time to start to get healthy than there is than now.
I actually had a buddy of mine said that his wife is a kind of frequent customer there as well, and she spoke very highly of it as well. So,
oh, cool. Very good. Well, the captains for Del City are making their way to the field. The coin toss will be coming up here shortly. Booker T's captains are not yet on the field. Captains for Del City tonight, of course, Rickland Holmes, Draquan Wright, Arnico Daniels, Nicholas Holmes, Ariane Daniels, Josiah Chester, and Caleb Blackwolf for the Eagles. Booker T's will be coming out here shortly. Gives me a moment to tell you about who sponsors our coin tosses. This is one of the cooler ones that you'll ever hear. Bucks Flight Academy, led by Del City graduate Kenny Lockhart. For affordable flight training from private pilot through multi-engine rating, you can check them out on Facebook and Instagram and book a discovery flight today at 405-538-1400. You know, that's something I've always wanted to do is learn how to fly.
Same here.
I think it would be a pretty neat hobby. So if that's something you're looking to get into, that's the guy to call. Give him a call over Bucks Flight Academy. The Booker T captains starting to make their way out to midfield here for the coin toss. Del City wearing their sharp. This is my favorite combo right here.
I was thinking the same earlier.
The black pants,
right.
The red uniforms, the white numbers, the black helmets with the red DC logo on it. Booker T will be wearing their white uniforms all the way up with the orange numbers. They've got black helmets, it looks like, with the Hornet on it. A lot of history at Booker T. You know, Gordy, the last time we were going to play, I went back and watched our game. Mm-hmm. You were going to say something, and then we didn't get to ever get back to it,
right,
about all the big-time players that have come out of Booker T.
Definitely.
And, go ahead. I mean, who are some of those guys that you can remember? I know one of them's playing in the NFL right now at running back.
Right now. We got Josh Jacobs, out of the Green Bay Packers, one of my favorite running backs, and actually one of my fantasy running backs as well, probably quite consistently. But, we go back in history, we talk about, Eton Thomas, who, played both basketball, in the NBA, and he played football as well. We talk about R.W. McQuarters, who was probably, one of the greatest defensive backs, of course, in OSU history, but definitely in Oklahoma high school football history as well. And like I said, we go to Ronaldo Works. We have so many, athletes that have came. Robert Meacham, another wide receiver that played in the NFL, to mention him as well. But like I said before, Booker T, let's even, bring up, the family that, is, quite prestigious, at OU. We've had the name can't come to mind. I'm having a slip of mind now.
Well, Gentry Williams is one who's at OU right now.
Right.
Yeah. But there's been several. No, you are 100% correct. Del City, by the way, did not win the toss. They lost the toss. Booker T. Washington chose to defer. So Del City will be receiving the football. They will receive on the left side of your screen. Booker T will be kicking off from right to left as you look at it. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to have playoff football for you on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Boy, it's getting loud in here. The music's turned up. The Booker T. Washington band is making their way to the field. They play all the way through, so the noise levels are picking up, and I'm sure it'll get noisier as we continue to go along. We'll be right back. We'll have kickoff for you coming up on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
All right, we're back live on the Oklahoma Sports Network. 2 minutes left till kickoff. Booker T. Washington's players are coming out of the locker room, and boy, I've gotten 3 text messages about the captains there. Booker T's captains were talking a little trash walking out of that coin toss there. That was
chippy.
You don't see a lot of that in high school football.
That's old
Usually
school.
It's kind of a deal of you're almost intimidated because the referees are standing right there. But boy, Booker T. Washington showing a little attitude to get this game off and going. Maybe that's
it's a little motivation, I'm assuming. That's one thing that'll try to get your team hyped up, and it definitely gets you hyped up as well. So I'll bet, it's something that they're trying to use as a tactic to probably get in the heads of the Del City Eagles. So kudos to them. Let's see how it goes.
We talked about the last time these two teams played. Caleb Blackwolf had an unbelievable game.
Right.
And I think Booker T. Washington, folks at home are going to maybe be a little surprised. Booker T. Washington, I think, is going to keep this game a little closer, perhaps. But, the thing is, sometimes, Gordy, after a loss, like Del City started getting maybe a little confidence building, maybe even at times maybe a little overconfident. And then last week they lost, got humbled just a little bit.
Definitely.
Sometimes that can wake up a sleeping giant. A team can really turn things around. So we'll have to see if that's the case. Here come the Eagles out of their tunnel. They lost the flag before they could get out there.
They lost the flag.
By the way, Gordy, what was the name you said for Booker T. Washington a little bit ago?
We talked about the Locketts. And that's what like I said, we forgot to mention we were bringing up Tyler Lockett, Aaron Lockett, Kevin Lockett, and the rest of the Lockett family, out there in Booker T. I mean, that was one of the things I couldn't help but Tyler slipped my mind just a little bit, but I was so focused on the rest of the family. They have so many athletes that have been passed through, at Booker T. Washington. I mean, they have so much history.
Here come the Hornets out of their respective tunnel. Got a few people who made the drive from Tulsa. If you are tuning in and you're from Tulsa, we appreciate you tuning in to us and trusting us to bring the game to you tonight. We are the Del City flagship station, and we have been all season long. So, of course, we are Del City supporters. But we will do our best to be as fair as we possibly can. First-year head coach for Booker T. Washington. He's hoping to get a big win tonight. This would be a key win for Coach Goodman, as this is his first playoff game as head coach here.
It's a huge game, to say the least, for this gentleman.
This is not foreign territory for Robert Jones. He's been in several big playoff games now.
Right.
He has only lost one first-round playoff matchup to my knowledge, and that was to Sam Springs when they were in 6A2.
You mentioned it before, Cole. That's what I'm really looking forward to see after a loss last week to, the Pryor Tigers. Dale City is definitely looking out. Like you say, they may have awoken a sleeping giant. When you take a loss like that, you come out, with a totally different mindset. And I imagine that Coach Jones and the rest of the coaching staff have prepared them. Talking to Coach Jones before the game started, he mentioned that, going into practice, he kind of even felt like the team was a little bit cocky and a little bit ahead of themselves. But after a loss like that, it makes them go right back to the drawing board, back to square one, and focusing on what's important and the opportunities that they have in front of them today.
The opening kickoff of tonight's game is brought to you by Del City Chamber of Commerce. The Del City Chamber of Commerce is where the trusted resource for advocacy, education, and engagement to help you improve your business. And we're underway here in the Class 5A first round of the playoffs as Del City let this ball go, and boy, dangerously so, as it just barely bounces about a yard into the end zone for a touchback. Playing with fire were the Eagles to start this ball game.
Lucky for them, that bounce was just right where it needed to be, able to get that touchback down the end zone.
The first quarter sponsor tonight is a new sponsor joining us for the playoffs, and we're excited about them, Hotella Construction. They remind you that they are the coach and your house is the team. It's time for you to call a timeout and make adjustments. Your roof provides protection like an offensive line, your gutters clean up like a good secondary, and your siding, well, your siding should be like a stadium packed with spectators, full of pride and excitement. That is Hotella Construction, as this first play is going to go to Sincere Overton, a good stiff arm. But Booker T does a great job, and they riot to the football. That'll be a loss of yardage on the play. Back to Hotella Construction. They are locally owned, and they're only a call away. Give them a call at 405-812-4236. We appreciate them sponsoring the Del City Eagles through the playoffs. They'll be with us the rest of the way here. So a negative play to start the ball game for Del City, a loss of 2.
Try to start out with the read option on that one, Cole, but like I said, just nothing doing. Defensive line of Booker T was able to get right through that and stop Sincere just for a short loss.
Sincere this time going to drop back and pass. He pumps. Now he looks, throws on the run over the middle. It's caught at the 26-yard line. It's Quincy Hill, or rather Josiah Chester, who makes the catch. Check that. So Josiah Chester's first of many catches, I would imagine, on the night. Makes this a third and manageable. They need to get the ball to the 30. We'll call it 3rd and 4.
Good job by Sincere Overton to get that first completion, try to knock some of that dust off from last week, and starting off on a good note, starting off 1-1 on completion. So we'll see if Del City can continue to march on down the field.
Nicholas Holmes checks into the ball game at receiver for Del City. He and Walter Franklin are split out to the far side of the field. On the near side, you've got Caleb Blackwolf and Josiah Chester. Rickland Holmes in the backfield with Overton. Blackwolf goes in motion. Back to pass. It's Sincere. Looked over the middle. There was contact, and a flag late comes in. Nicholas Holmes was the intended receiver, but he was tackled out of his break.
Just a little bit too much contact on that one. Not sure if they got kind of tangled up there. Sincere, but good job getting that ball out quickly. That'll help you draw an offensive pass interference, pretty quick. So good job by Sincere.
This will be a first down for Del City. It'll move the sticks. So I like the attack. Del City early throwing the football down the field, or at least looking to.
Definitely being aggressive just a little bit. And you can see the sense of urgency coming out, especially with the offensive line. I really like what I'm seeing today for the Eagles.
Booker T's defense, typically a 4-man front. They do like to play with 2 to 3 linebackers. So that opens things up in the passing game when you don't have your typical guys in the secondary on the field to match up with the speed that the Eagles have. What you're counting for, if your Booker T, is a good pass rush. So far, not been able to get home. This is going to be a keep by Sincere Overton, and Overton has a good hole to the 45. There was a missed block by Josiah Chester, and otherwise that play would have been even bigger. As there's a flag down on the far side of the field, thrown at the 37-yard line.
We'll see what that flag is about. But like you said, Colt, had Josiah Chester been able to hold that block up, that play would have been a lot further in yardage. But like I said, good read and good keeper by Sincere Overton. We'll see what this call is.
It is a hold on Del City. Boy, I got to tell you.
Holding penalty against Del City.
I don't know. I didn't see that one. There was a lot of calls last week, Gordy, that I went back and watched. that just quite frankly were not there, and they were called. And
I understand.
It gives you a sense of frustration as a fan when that happens, especially like when those flags were thrown last week. And so for Coach Jones and his coaching staff, look for them early on to have conversations with the referees and also with their players about discipline, but also calling the game a little bit fairly. I think they didn't say anything, but I just think they're frustrated a little bit with some of the calls they've been getting.
I totally agree. You can't imagine, just like I said, the setbacks and it causes.
This pass thrown backwards here, caught by Black Wolf. Black Wolf goes forward to about the 28-yard line, picks up a couple. Second down and long for Del City.
Like you said, Cole, those penalties could be such momentum killers. And last week, like you said, all the plays that were, given penalties were those plays that really were game changers, and that can really change the outcome of the score. So in today's game, like you say, I imagine the coaches will be having that communication with the referees. And definitely, I'm sure they had the conversations with the players throughout the week, letting them know the discipline that they need to have going into today.
2nd and 18 for the Eagles as they'll have to try to recover from that penalty. A lot of ground to make up. 2 receivers to each side. A lot of motion for Del City early. Nicholas Holmes is the man in motion this time. Overton looking to pass, throwing it deep. He's got a man open. It's Josiah Chester. Makes the catch, turns around, and drops at the 34-yard line. It's a first down for Del City. A good tackle on the back end. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown. He was able to make that tackle. Josiah Chester was the man who made the catch. That ball was maybe just a hair underthrown, but I think it's good. The thing is for Del City, Gordy, is that a lot of times these passes have been overthrown.
Yes.
You'd almost rather underthrow it about a yard when he's that open. Make sure he makes the catch.
That's the truth. And Josiah Chester is just so fast, of course, running that seam route, straight, out of the double set. Out of the Twins route, Sincere Overton did a really good job of kind of setting his feet back and getting a little bit comfortable. But like you said, you kind of want to, just throw it out just a little bit underneath that way the receiver can run underneath that ball. And here goes Sincere on the run. Sorry about that.
You're all right. Overton out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Good pickup off the tempo by Del City. When they hit a big play, they like to hit tempo and then try to get Sincere loose on a run. Did so there, picked up another first down for the Eagles. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 22-yard line of Booker T.
Just a really good job of Overton to continue to move this ball down the field and get these guys into the red zone.
Hand off to Rickland Holmes. Rickland Holmes will try to push the pile and get as many as he can. In fact, he'll take it to the 20, which will, in fact, put Del City in the red zone, which is brought to you by Bail Bonds by Tamra. Have you missed the ball on paying a ticket? You give Bail Bonds by Tamra a call at 405-200-5110. 15-plus years of serving the community. Del City facing a 2nd and 8 as they get into the red zone. Del City mixing it up a little bit. They've had some tempo, but now they're slowing it down.
Definitely. A little read option here. Like you said, a little bit of quick routes on, some of these other passes. I said doing a really good job of, keeping it balanced.
Going to be a quick bubble screen out here to Josiah Chester. Good block from Black Wolf as he was the leading blocker. Gets up to the 15-yard line. Then was popped. Big hit in the back end by the safety for Booker T. Washington. That was number 1 on the tackle. That's Keenan Farley. He's one of their better athletes. In fact, he'll be their number 1 receiver most likely tonight. So it is 3rd down for Del City. They need to get the ball to the 17-yard line. It's manageable. You've got 2 plays to pick this up.
And they've done a really good job of just making these yards and making these plays positive where they've actually moved it down the field quite a bit. We'll see if they can continue to put the ball on the ground and make some moves.
This play is going to be halted before it gets going. It's a timeout by Del City. The play clock was winding down, so that was a good timeout to save from a penalty. So with 6 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in quarter number 1, Del City's driving. They've taken their first timeout. We'll be right back. You're watching Eagle Football on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rolling.
This is how you need our number in your phone. This could be you.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. 3rd down and 5 coming up for Del City. The Eagles just took their first time out of the ball game. 6 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in quarter number 1. Del City still on the opening possession of the ball game. Nice little drive they've put together. They had a holding call early that set them back, but they were able to recover with a big play to Josiah Chester. A couple runs by Sincere Overton, and here we are. A big 3rd down for Del City. Overton takes the snap, back to pass. Looking. Now he's going to try to take off and run for it. Lots of Hornets there. Lowers the shoulder and gets his way inside the 10 for a first down. A nice tough run by Sincere Overton to move the sticks. It's 1st and goal for Del City right at the 10.
Like you said, nice little keeper by Overton on that one. Like I said, hesitated just a little bit. Able to make his way up and get the first down for the Del City Eagles. Get him a little bit closer to the promised land.
The Eagles will set up with quads here to the near side. Walter Franklin to the far side. Overton in the backfield by himself. Takes the snap. He's running right. Looking for blockers, looking for help. Not much there. Great defense by Booker T. In on that tackle was number 66 on the defensive line. That's Dion DeLucer. He is a 265-pound sophomore.
Good takedown by Jeremiah Perry as well. But, had quads to the right over there. Trying to get Sincere Overton just a little bit more space. Just, unfortunately, not enough blocking on the offensive line to get him all the way through.
2nd and goal from the 10-yard line.
So Del City actually didn't get anything on that play.
No.
2nd 10. Receiver to each side. Black Wolf in the backfield. Josiah Chester in motion. This is a handoff to Black Wolf, and he is hit for a loss at the 12-yard line. Immediately in on the tackle was the defensive end, almost untouched, Tyron Taylor on the tackle.
Good stop by Taylor on that one. Able to just kind of break up the offensive line for Del City and just not getting any yardage on that run. Booker T. Washington's defensive line is doing a really good job of kind of stuffing up that middle. Del City hasn't really been able to get anything breaking up the middle. More of their yardage is coming on the outside edges. But I said Booker T is doing a really good job of clogging up that middle.
3rd and goal from the 12.
This has been a 9-play drive so far. Del City has driven the ball from their own 20 to the 10. It's 3rd down and 12 now. This is a jump ball pass to Chester. Good coverage. It's incomplete. It's going to be 4th down for Del City. And, boy, Booker T's defense really has bowed up a little bit, made a couple stops. Del City with a decision to make. Do you try to kick this or do you go ahead and go for it? It appears they will go for it. No sign of them sending a kicker onto the field.
Del City elected to try to put a little bit of pressure on the Hornets to see if they can go ahead and get this one in the end zone.
And did Del City take another timeout?
Looks like they'll go ahead and burn one. Try to get on the same page.
So they take a timeout. We'll take a timeout. That's Del City's 2nd timeout of the half. 3:42 left to go in quarter number 1. 4th and 10 coming up for the Eagles on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes, call Rob and Will.
Back with you on the Oklahoma Sports Network. 4th down and goal. I said from the 10. It's at the 12. 3:42 left to go in the opening quarter. Del City going to send out 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side.
Playoff football. This is a must-score for the Del City Eagles.
There is a little bit of a hold-up here as one of the Del City coaches has his phone to his ear, so I would imagine that was something to do with the scoreboard. It was. They added time to the clock, so 4:07 left to go in the first quarter. Del City going to run trips left. Josiah Chester to the right. Ricklin Holmes in the backfield with Sincere Overton. Overton takes the snap, back to pass. 4-man rush, and he's going to run right. Flag down, that's a hold. As he throws to the end zone, it was broken up and incomplete anyway. There looks to be maybe a second flag, but I don't think it's on. Nope, it's the same one. He just picked it up and re-threw it. It was a hold on Del City. That penalty will be declined, and Booker T will take over at their own 12-yard line. So Del City drives the ball from their own 20 all the way to the Booker T 10, and the drive stalls from there. Right. In the act, Del City also had to call 2 timeouts. So, boy, big stand for Booker T.
What was a play that they decided to go along with, with Sincere Overton on the right bootleg, trying to get the ball out to one of their better receivers. It was just so much coverage, in the end zone, just not able to squeeze that one through. So it was a really tough call. It's one of those plays that sometimes you might have a better opportunity to kind of create that separation, but Del City just wasn't able to execute that play like they kind of mapped out. So hopefully they can get a stop here, and put a little bit more pressure on the Hornets, but this is the Hornets' first possession, so I'm excited to see what they can do.
And it is Max Houston, the freshman quarterback, who is elusive, and he takes off running, and he's brought down from behind at the 18-yard line. Good pickup of 6 on first down. The man on the tackle was for Del City. It was Gylan King.
Good stop by King, but good run by Crosby, the freshman, able to kind of get, almost halfway point, to that first down marker. So that's a good start for this young guy.
3.5 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. Booker T's first go at offense here. Handoff to Micah Washington. This is the Booker T's probably their best player all around. That's who they want to get the football to. He picks up a yard. It'll be third down to the 19. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Number 3, Michael Washington, definitely a playmaker with some speed, to say the least. Unable to get any yards on that one. Good stop by the defensive line of Del City, but you'll see a lot of number 3 tonight. I imagine they'll try to get him going.
Del City's defense kind of scrambling to get into position. 2 receivers to each side. At quarterback this time, it appears, is that still Max Houston, or is that, no, that's still Houston.
Yeah, still Houston. You got it right.
Houston and Washington in the backfield for the Hornets. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 7 seconds left on the play clock. Houston takes the snap, back to pass. Pump fakes. Now he's going to try to take off running. Looked like there was a hold, no call. And that pass is broken up. Great coverage by Del City's number 21. That's Jamari Johnson, the sophomore. Del City gets a 3 and out.
Right. Really good, really quick 3 and out for the Booker T. Washington Hornets. But like you said before, great stop by Johnson. Way to come up and break that pass up using great defensive technique, not creating any space, and just like I said, not giving up anything as well. But that said, great job by the defense of Del City to try to get this ball back and get it into the end zone.
Now, this is where Del City really hurt Booker T the first time they played. It was with the punt return unit, and it was Caleb Blackwolf. Blackwolf and Nicholas Holmes back to return. This is a line drive kick that they will keep away from Blackwolf. Almost looked intentional, as that will take a Hornet bounce. Turns out to be a tremendous punt all the way to the Eagle 33-yard line. That's where Del City's offense will set up shop. Round number 2 with 2:23 left to go in the quarter. The offense moved the ball, Gordy. They just stalled out.
Definitely did a really good job of, like we talked about before, having a lot of balance, running the RPOs, using these quick passes as well out of the screens. But I said able to put one right up the seams for Josiah Chester as well. So I imagine Del City will get back to doing the same thing that had, the success that was able to get them in the red zone before. The thing is, I think they would probably like to try to get this running game just going a little bit more. But the defensive line of the Hornets is just doing a really good job of shutting them down in the middle. So let's see what they got here.
Blackwolf and Chester are the 2 receivers for Del City. Ricklin Holmes, the running back, with Sincere Overton. Overton takes the snap. He's going to take off running. Was able to elude the first tackler and gets it up to the 35-yard line. It's a pickup of 1. It'll be 2nd and 9. And so far in the early going, I am impressed with Booker T's defense. They are really flying to the football right now.
They are. And what we're really seeing from Booker T is that the safeties, that was Farley right there on that tackle, but the safeties and the corners are really doing a really good job of kind of closing in and not really trying to give up that outside. But the defensive line, like we said before, the Hornets is doing a really good job of pushing the offensive line of Del City back. What Del City really has to do is do a really good job of kind of staying in front of that man and trying to get in that same push that they had the first drive.
This time, Del City runs trips to the near side, 2 receivers to the far side. It's Walter Franklin and Ricklin Holmes to the far side. Overton takes the snap, back to pass. Pressure coming, gets away from it. Now he's going to take off and run. Puts on a couple moves. Thought he was about to get hit hard, and somehow the guy whiffed, and he's able to get to the 42-yard line. Booker T. Washington was asking for a hold. Did not get it on that play. It'll be third down for Del City as they need to get the ball to the 44, so it'll be third and short, 3rd and 2.
Nice pickup again by Sincere Overton with the draw play. That was one of those plays called. Had they been, aware and kind of looking, they decided to go man coverage on that one, and all the receivers were just wide open on that edge.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about on the replay. It looks like the safety's kind of bit.
Yes.
Looked like there was somebody open on the near side here. Del City with a tight formation. Going to be a handoff to Black Wolf. Black Wolf puts his foot in the ground, tries to get up the field north and south. It's close to the first down.
Almost there, but it's not quite.
But I think he is just shy. I mean, I'm pretty much sitting right even with where the ball is spotted. He needed to get the ball to just right in front of the 44, and they marked him at the 43. So he's a half a yard short, and Del City looks like they're going to punt this ball away.
Well, Del City, they have kind of been subject, victim to the defensive line of Booker T. They've just done a really good job of being tenacious on this line, just not really giving up any space. You can see there on a really short yardage gain, they try to get Black Wolf up the middle, but just nothing doing on the push.
This might be a fake. Rickland Holmes takes the snap. It's a fake. Running right, has the first down to Rickland Holmes. Now Holmes is outside to the 50, tries to cut back to the 45, still on his feet inside the 40, pushing down to the 33-yard line. A big play on the fake punt. And, Gordy, that's not your typical fake punt.
No.
Because normally most teams have a punter who's not going to be the most, he's not going to be able to run somebody over and make somebody miss in space.
Right.
Rickland Holmes, on the other hand, is your starting running back. That kind of makes a difference.
Right. And the fact that Rickland Holmes can actually punt it, at any time, it kind of has to keep you on the back of your toes, So it's like I said, one of those things that, like you said before, it's not going to be your average, punt fake, but Rickland Holmes with the ball in his hands is just dangerous.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when Del City sent the punt unit out, and sure enough, that was a fake. It was a good call. Del City keeps the chains moving. That's the end of the first quarter, tied at 0. We'll be right back on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business. And always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. It's quarter number 2, tied at 0 between Del City and Booker T. Washington. Sincere Overton takes the snap up the middle. Big gain to the 20. He was just tripped up enough. Otherwise, I think he was going to have a house call. Instead, he'll be rounded up at the 12-yard line. It'll be first down Del City, and they're back into the red zone. Brought to you by Bail Bonds by Tamra. We were just laughing at the break with how loud the band is for Booker T. Washington, and them and Del City's band were kind of battling it out there at the break. And we were laughing because Booker T's band, they're really good, by the way.
Right.
But they will play from beginning to end. And Blake was like, man, I don't know how they're able to breathe. And Gordy said, well, there's an ambulance right next to him. I bet there's oxygen in there to help them out during breaks. But, boy, they get after it over there.
Get down.
First down for Del City. This is going to be a quick pass to Black Wolf. Black Wolf trying to get north and south. Black Wolf stretches forward into the end zone for the Eagle touchdown.
All right. And that is our guy right there, Mr. Caleb Blackwolf. Besides Mr. Rickland Holmes being Mr. Reliable, you have Mr. Dynamic, Mr. Explosive, Mr. Everything, Caleb Blackwolf, able to put the points on the board for Del City on this first drive. I mean, like I said before, these guys have done such a really good job, coming out, and making a name for themselves throughout the season. But just on this drive, after that first drive just kind of went stagnant, able to kind of march it down on the second one and get into the end zone. So great job by Del City and great job by Caleb Blackwolf.
The referees are going to stop play for just a moment. I think, again, this is a clock issue. 6-0 our score. I'll go ahead and tell you that touchdown was a 12-yard touchdown pass at Sierra Overton to Caleb Blackwolf, brought to you by Madison's Country Cooking. The key word this week is going to be playoffs?
Playoffs.
And that will get you 10% off all purchases. You have to say it just like that, though. Located at 4747 Southeast 29th Street. And you know what? I went there on Sunday and actually ate, and with my son, had the chili cheeseburger. My son got a breakfast meal. Both of us really liked it. Victoria was our server. She did a great job, took good care of us over at Madison's Country Cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Extra point up, and it's drilled. It's good. 7-0 our score with 11:21 left to go in the second quarter. Our second quarter sponsor tonight is Whataburger, which Whataburger over on 15th Street in Midwest City. If you go by after the game tonight, all you got to do is make a purchase. You can buy a Coke. You're going to get a free medium French fry. Just remember, all you got to do is say you're with the Del City Eagles and the Oklahoma Sports Network sent you. They'll hook you up. It's only good on game day, only at the 15th Street location. That is our proud second quarter sponsor for tonight's game. And, Gordy, I got to say, that last touchdown by Caleb Blackwolf has to maybe bring up a little bit of, bad memories for Booker T, because Caleb Blackwolf had a huge game the last two times these teams played.
Huge.
And Blackwolf picks up where he left off on that touchdown there.
I mean, I was seeing number 5 in my sleep. So if I played for the Hornets, I can imagine what they felt from the last time. So seeing this young man get into the end zone, for the first touchdown of the game is probably just one of those reminders like, oh, yeah, there's that man again. So we really got to get back to business. So like I said, kudos to that gentleman, and everything that he's done throughout the season. But, I said, now the Booker T. Washington Hornets know that they're going to have to stay aware for number 5 as well as, the rest of the team. So Del City is definitely getting the momentum that they need. So we'll see if they can kind of keep this going.
Rickland Holmes will kick it off from right to left. Kick brought to you by Del City Chamber of Commerce. This one going to be returnable by the quick and shifty Booker T. Washington returner. Good return up to the 42-yard line. Boy, good return. That was Davion Durham on the return.
Nice carry by Durham to put Booker T in prime position to get their drive started, almost to the midfield line.
Durham is typically the backup running back, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They've got a couple of them.
They got a couple. They have a tremendous amount of speed, and as you can see, not a lot of size with these young men, but of course, once they get the ball in their hands, each one of these young men are very dangerous.
I actually like to line up Durham in the slot. I beg your pardon on that. Collier is the backup running back. But Micah Washington receives most of the carries in the ball game right now, both of them, Collier and Washington.
Right.
Behind Max Houston. Max, boy, it looks like a confusing play there. They didn't know what they were doing, but Max Houston's able to get the edge and pick up a nice gain. Boy, I'll tell you what, that is anytime you let something get outside of you, you're going to get in trouble.
Right.
As somebody who has to have contained, I think Draquan Wright was the man responsible for that. It's going to be a pickup of 4 on first down.
Like you said, just a bit of confusion on that offensive play call, by the backfield, but able to kind of get it all together, and then Crosby was able to break it out on the left side for that, game where it almost looked like they may have had a loss in the backfield. So Del City is one of those, teams that they're, really speed-based. So having a guy like Crosby that's able to kind of get on the outside edge is really going to cause a lot of fits, for some of these corners and safeties.
It's going to be a handoff. It's going to be a handoff to Washington. He goes forward to midfield, just shy of the first down. Gordy, I am sorry, but I do not see Crosby on my roster. What number did you think that was?
Oh, shoot.
I thought that was the quarterback, Max Houston.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Got it. Del City's going to have an illegal substitution. Sorry, I was scrambling, making sure I wasn't calling that wrong.
No, you're right.
So it was Max Houston. Okay. I think what you did there, now that I just put 2 and 2 together, Max Crosby, that makes sense.
Is the other quarterback?
No. Max Crosby, like in the NFL.
Oh.
I think that's where your yeah, I think that's where your head was going. Max Houston.
Max Houston.
Yeah, all right. I was looking at my rosters up and
funny.
down. I thought I missed something there.
Oh, that's too funny. I was thinking about Levi Brooks as well. So
all right.
Max Crosby. He's not in high school anymore.
First down for Booker T after the penalty. It was the illegal substitution for Del City. Washington the carry. He's going to take off right and push his way forward to the 41-yard line. They actually didn't give him the extra 2 yards they thought he had, so it'll be second down for the Hornets.
Another tough run by Michael Washington. Just kind of willing his way, all the way to the 40-yard line.
Someone on YouTube asked if Del City's wearing orange. No, they're wearing red uniforms with black pants, as this is going to be another confusion play here for Booker T. I don't think that was intentional, but Max Houston makes something out of it as he's able to get the ball to the 38. Brings up third down for the Hornets.
Kind of a quick snap and Bell on that one. So this is an important third down for the Hornets. I think they want to try to at least get this little bit amount of yards to try to get to that first down.
Pistol look here. Back to pass. Houston throws deep, looking for a receiver. It's batted away by Josiah Chester. He batted it, and he was trying to go back and catch it off the deflection. It'll be fourth down for Booker T. I like that play call right there, Gordy, because that you pretty much know you're probably going for it on fourth down. So many teams on third down knowing you're going to go for it will just run it.
Definitely.
To try to get what they can. But I like, if you're going to do that, to me, you should take a shot.
I agree. And that's the same thing I was thinking as he was throwing the ball. Like you said, probably not the play that, you might see a lot of offensive coordinators call. But in a situation like that, you don't really have anything to lose. Like you say, it was almost perfect timing. And you want to kind of keep the defensive backs, just a little bit unaware of what you're doing, especially that's the time that you want to go for that deep ball.
Booker T tried to get Del City to jump off sides. Did not work with 1 second on the play clock. Drops back to pass. This ball batted down at the line of scrimmage and was almost intercepted. It'll be a turnover on downs, and the Del City defense gets another stop. The offense will come back out leading 7-0 with 9:21 left to go in quarter number 2. The YouTube chat tuning in, as always, if you're on YouTube, we do read the chat. Usually we'll interact with you as long as you're appropriate.
Right.
Sometimes we don't. We're not always appropriate, but we'll try to keep it that way. This one is pretty fun. It made me laugh. Del City versus Booker T. Washington. It'll be something if we can see a spin-a-rooney. If anybody is a professional wrestling fan, you got that joke. I got it.
A spin-a-rooney.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Jeremy Crockett said that. Appreciate that. That was funny.
Big-time wrestling fan, I'll see. I got some other wrestling fans. I think one of my guys, Lonnie Bellows, a guy I work with, he's a big-time wrestling fan. Some of my guys at work, so shouts out to them.
It's going to be a flag down and a false start on Del City before the snap. That'll back them up, make it 1st and 15.
False start against Del City. 5-yard penalty.
When I was a kid, Gordy Booker T was actually one of my favorite wrestlers. He came over from WCW to,
no doubt,
at that time, the WWF, and I was a big fan. I hated it that he didn't get a better push.
Right.
In WWE. He was good, and he's rather ECW, WCW, 5-time champ over there. So,
and he's still around. You see him commentating on a lot of the WCW and WWF.
Right. Yeah,
that's what I said.
Overton the snap. Booker T does a great job on the defensive line. Get a good push. That's a loss of yardage on the play. It'll be 2nd and 16 for Del City.
Once again, Booker T is just really, causing fits for this offensive line. I mean, you see number 55, getting after it, for the Booker T Hornets. And they just really, having a lot of disruption in that middle, just not giving up anything, to Sincere Overton and Rickland Holmes, as well as Black Wolf trying to come, down the middle. So a lot of Del City successes came off of these quick passes on the outside and these runs to the outside. So I imagine, throughout the game, they'll try to wear them down just a little bit. But if they can get a little bit of separation, get this offensive line to get a little bit more push, they may have some success.
Del City sends Rickland Holmes in motion from left to right. Overton looking. He was wanting to go deep. Now he's going to go deep down the field. Somehow the ball is caught. It's a first down for Del City. Caleb Blackwolf. Wow, I thought that ball was going to be 6 going the other way. Instead, the ball just got over the head of the defender, and it's enough for an Eagle first down.
Just a small little tip that just kind of had Blackwolf just a little bit hesitant after he caught that ball because he had to kind of come back for it. But good play on the ball by the defensive back, but Caleb Blackwolf just a little bit more harder on the fight and ready to get that ball out by Sincere Overton as well to get it out really quickly and get that completion to Blackwolf.
So Del City's offense now starting to cook a little bit. Normally after a big play, they'll hit tempo. This time, not quite so fast. 9 seconds to go on the play clock. 8 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the second quarter. That snap looked like it might have been premature, but Del City's going to get a decent gain out of it as Overton kept it running left. He's going to go forwards. In fact, still pushing the pile to the 46-yard line. It's a pickup of 5.
Number 16,
Someone said in the group chat, Max Houston isn't a freshman, he's a junior. Well, You might be right, but I have to go by the roster that the head coach for Booker T presented with me, and it says on my roster that they presented that Max is a freshman. So I have to go with that. You could be correct. Won't argue with you, but just have to go with the rosters we were presented with.
Right.
Second down for Del City, 2nd and 5. Overton with the receiver to each side. This snap is bad. Overton just has to fall on it as he was being run down by a couple Booker T defenders. That's going to be a sack. The credit will go to number 13 for Booker T. That's Dwayne Jones. He is a junior.
Nice rush in to kind of get these guys on their toes just a little bit. But Del City, the offensive line as well, of course the center, just got to settle down just a little bit. Just to settle down and relax, trying to get back to basics. I think it's just the tension of it being a playoff game. These guys are kind of on pins and needles, and given the fact that Booker T is putting such a, good push on the defensive line, it's kind of got them a little bit agitated. So I said, you see the coaches, you see the players kind of getting a little bit outside themselves, but all they really got to do is relax, and kind of continue to do what they've done the rest of the season.
3rd and long for Del City. The stoppage there was just trying to add more time to the play clock. Booker T's defense has played well tonight. They gave up the fake punt earlier, and that was what led to the touchdown, as this is going to be a screen pass to Black Wolf, and they're only able to get it to the 47-yard line. It'll be 4th down and long. This time you would imagine Del City probably punts this one away, leading it 7-0 with 6:45 left to go in quarter number 2.
Trying to go along with the screen pass, just not really getting a lot of blocking on the edge. And, of course, when you play against a quick defensive set like this, like I said, they have a lot of defensive guys that are really fast. These guys are just really closing in on the ball really quickly, and if you really can't get to them initially, it's going to be a long night, if you really can't put a hat on these guys.
Ricklin Holmes, the punter, and he gets a hold of this one. This ball going to bounce just outside the 10 and take it way out of bounds at the 2. Boy, an incredible punt by Ricklin Holmes. So Booker T. Washington will have to take it 98 yards to get on the board. I want to check back in with our YouTube chat here. We've got a lot of Booker T. Washington fans, which we appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yeah. This, as we talked about earlier, folks, we are the Del City flagship station for Eagle football. So, of course, we're a little more partial to Del City, but we appreciate you tuning in, and we do try our best to be fair. This is a Booker T. Washington team that has really turned things around since that matchup against Del City in the 2nd week of non-district. And Booker T has turned it around, going 7-3 to finish their season. Had some big-time wins in district play, and this is a tough first-round draw for Del City. Booker T defensively has gotten off to a good start, holding the Eagles to only 1 touchdown midway through the 2nd quarter. Their offense looking to get things going. Houston takes the snap, going to hand it to Michael Washington. Washington gets around the left end and is able to give the Hornets a little breathing room as he takes it to the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Thing about Washington, he hits the hole so hard and so quickly, it really just gives your offense a huge advantage, when you do have a back, that can hit the hole and take that handoff as fast as he can. Like I said, able to kind of dig them out of the dirt just a little bit. And like I said before, Washington's been able to do a really good job throughout the evening, of kind of putting Booker T on his back and keeping that ball moving.
Booker T sends a man in motion. This is going to be a handoff again to Washington, this time not going anywhere as the Eagles really collapsed on that play quickly. In fact, that's going to be a loss of a couple. It'll send them back almost to the initial line of scrimmage. They'll mark it at the 3.
Just nothing doing on that one, but good stop. Great stop by number 57, Devin Joseph, continuing his reign upon the defensive line.
Devin Joseph is going to be a fantastic player. Him and Damani Godwin, a freshman that just checked out of the ballgame, number 90. Both of them, sophomore and freshman.
Right.
They're going to control the Del City front for a couple of years here, and it's going to be fun to watch.
They've gotten better and better throughout the season, and it's just been a joy and a pleasure to watch these young men continue to develop.
Back to pass is Houston. Out of his own end zone, he is looking, and he dumps it off. Nice play. Gets it to Washington. Washington has the first down, still running as he gets out of bounds up at the 23-yard line. Great play from Max Houston to get that ball to Michael Washington, to be able to pick up the first down.
No doubt, Coach. You're 100% right. Able to keep his feet moving and keep his head up, able to find that receiver, out of the backfield in Washington. And, of course, like we said before, Washington's such a tough runner. He's going to give you a chance every time he touches the ball. So, great first down by Booker T.
Trips to the near side. It's going to be a handoff to Washington again as he follows his lineman. and he picks up a few, gets out of bounds. It's going to be a pickup of 4. Actually, a pretty good pickup on first down for Booker T. And that was the key last week for Pryor.
Yeah.
Their offense scored 51 points, so of course they were electric. But the biggest thing was on first down, they picked up positive plays consistently throughout the night.
That's it, Colton. Like you said, if anything, when you run that first play of each drive or the first play of each set, you want it to be positive. Whether it's 2 yards, whether it's 8 yards, you want it to be positive. You want to make sure that you can kind of go into that second down. And like you said, Pryor did a really good job last week of that. And Booker T is continuing to, be able to establish this run game. And this is really what you want to be able to do throughout the game.
Washington takes it again, a couple yards forward to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Booker T. That last play that they had it inside their own end zone, the pass play, I should say, was out of their own end zone. Houston was, if that would have been a hold out of his own end zone, that would have been a safety.
Right.
So that was like an aggressive play call for Booker T. It paid off for them. They're playing to, they're going to put everything on the line to try to win this football game as Houston drops back to pass. Going to go deep, has a step, but it's underthrown, and it's almost intercepted. It was juggled around. It'll fall incomplete. It was Josiah Chester in coverage. The intended receiver for Booker T on that play was Caden McClellan, and he is one of their top receivers. He and Farley are the two guys they'd like to get the ball to. It'll be 4th down, and Booker T will punt deep in their own territory at their own 19.
Yeah, they tried a couple of times to get the ball in McClellan's hands, but, both times, Josiah Chester, being a receiver himself, has done an excellent job of coverage, and being able to, not give up anything, on the defensive end when he's playing this cornerback position. So, shots out to Josiah Chester for not only being a great receiver, but being a great cover corner as well.
That punt went directly out of bounds. In fact, went out of bounds at the Booker T 46-yard line. I think that's intentional, Gordy, even though that really does hurt you field position-wise. The last time these two teams played, if I can speak, Caleb Blackwolf returned 2 touchdowns for punts. So I think that is a big reason why you're seeing these punts. Maybe they're going straight out of bounds and it's not flipping the field, but at least you're not giving Del City 6.
It's dangerous. Like you say, you take the chance and putting a ball in this guy's hands, and sometimes if you kind of tend to lax and forget how dynamic that he could be, it could be that play that can change the game. So like you said, Colt, they're going to probably do anything they can to try to keep the ball out of the hands of Caleb Blackwolf.
Quads to the near side, one receiver up top. Overton takes the snap. Good jump by the pass rusher. Overton has to try to tuck it and run. He's able to get back to the initial line of scrimmage, so it will not count as a sack. Chasing him down from behind was number 55. I think that was the number for Booker T, and that is Tatum Tolles.
Not really sure if Sincere was just rushed a little bit or if that was, a design play, for him to go ahead and bring that down, because I seen the pump fake. But like I said before, Del City really has, the advantage on the receiver end by having the quicker, more athletic receiver. So I think throughout this game, I think they're kind of trying to wear these guys down a little bit so they can, kind of create more one-on-one coverage.
Coming in motion is Chester. There's going to be a flag. I think Blackwolf may have jumped early. They're going to call offsides, though, on Booker T. Washington. They're going to call that, I believe, on the cornerback, Tyler Phillips. They're going to say he made contact with Blackwolf prior to that ball being snapped. Phillips does not like the call, but that'll be a free 5 yards for Del City, nonetheless. It seems to me, Gordy, a little bit that Sincere is maybe rushing himself a little bit in the pocket.
Agree.
I think the Del City offensive line is actually doing a relatively good job, but he seems to be wanting to leave the pocket just a little early.
Getting a little jittery back there, just a little bit. And like you said, I think, the defensive line, has put a little bit more pressure, but like I said, not enough to, kind of have him running. He has had a couple of, 1 sack, I think. But like you said, just needs to settle down just a little bit and go through his progressions, give these receivers a chance.
Well, that 5 yards is going to come right back as Del City did jump that time. So it'll be 2nd and 10 again. 2:58 left to go in the second quarter, and this game is pretty much the complete opposite from last week, as last week we saw a lot of points scored, 51-35 the final against Pryor, and tonight 7-0 our score and a lot of penalties, as as Jim Ross would say, this is a little bowling shoe ugly.
That is the truth. That is the exact truth. And I think, I could probably see the frustration on the Dell City side by the coaches as well. But I imagine, for Booker T, they might be a little bit more exuberant, because like I said, they're giving themselves a chance going into the second half.
Overton takes the snap, immediately takes off running right, picks up 3. It'll be 3rd and 7 now.
Number 16, Sincere Overton, with the quarterback keeper, good for 2 yards.
Are you surprised at all, Gordy, that there hasn't been a ton of carries so far?
By the man?
By Rickland Holmes.
Exactly. That's one of the things that anytime we go into games like this, you usually think that Rickland Holmes might be the feature player. They might try to get the ball in his hands just a little bit more. Not really seeing, exactly, what they may have seen on film and that they might be able to take advantage of. But I imagine, with a lot of the dropbacks, they feel like they could take advantage of, some of these defensive coverages, but they really haven't put the ball in the air a lot. So, like I said before, them stuffing up that middle, they may have kind of gotten away from the game plan that they may have had. But like you said, I think the Dell City, would have a lot more success if they continue to kind of trust themselves and trust Rickland Holmes and put the ball, in his hands, as well as Josiah Chester, as well as Caleb Blackwolf.
3rd and 8 for Dell City. They've taken their final timeout with 1:46 left to go in the half. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll be right back. You're watching Eagle Football on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes, call Rob and Will.
At Tommy's Express Car Wash, we know how to love your ride. Try the Works Wash with our signature 14-step cleaning process, engineered to shine and shield your car from the elements. From breaking down dirt and bugs with our Detox Pre-Wash to restoring your vehicle's finish with our ceramic body wax. Give your car the best with our Top Wash. Then complete the clean with free vacuums and mat washers. Download our app and get your first 30 days of the works for free. Tommy's Express. Love your ride.
We're back live on the Oklahoma Sports Network. 3rd and 8 for Dell City. 1:46 left to go in the half. Overton back to pass. Had time, tries to take off running instead, and he'll take it to the 40 and be taken down from behind. It'll be 4th down for Dell City. 4th and 4 coming up.
Not really sure exactly what Sincere Overton may have seen on that play call. I think there might be a little bit of frustration shown by some of the receivers. They're kind of standing there looking, kind of waiting on the ball. I think Sincere just really needs to settle down and kind of, like I said, trust himself and trust that arm. He has the weapons that he needs out there. I think he just really needs to kind of go with his initial set and kind of trust the play calling by the coaches and trust those receivers and get those ball, get the ball in those guys' hands.
Rickland Holmes sets up to punt. Let's see if he kicks it away this time. He will not. He's going to fake it again. Booker T's ready for it this time, though. I don't think Rickland's going to even come close to getting this first down. That's going to be a turnover on downs with 56 seconds left to go. Booker T was ready and waiting for the fake that time. Coach Jones wondering what happened. Makes you wonder he didn't call that. That must have been a decision that Rickland made on his own. So Booker T, instead of being pinned deep, going to get good field position at the 39-yard line, and they still have 3 timeouts to work with, and on top of that, they start with the football in the second half.
All right, I think you're 100% right on that one, Colt. I think Rickland Holmes may have taken that call, into his own hands, thinking that he could, use that speed that he has to kind of get him to that first down marker. Just nothing really going because the line was not really ready to block, and prepared to block for a fake punt. So in a situation like that, just kind of trust what your coach is doing. You kind of put yourself in that situation, so you really don't want to give that field position up like they have.
It's Levi Brooks in at quarterback. He makes a good throw. It was dropped. Out wide, it was Michael Washington. Let it go through his hands. But Levi Brooks in at quarterback. Levi, the more experienced quarterback. He is a senior. And watching him in warm-ups, Gordy, he threw the ball really well. I said that the last time these two teams played. Mm-hmm. But right there, that ball, nothing wrong with the way that was thrown. That was just dropped.
Perfectly thrown pass to Washington, just unable to bring it in on that one.
2 receivers to each side of Brooks. He's got Washington in the backfield with him. Claps his hands, takes the snap. Play action, back to pass, going deep. That ball is, I think, knocked away at the last second, just past the outstretched arms of Keenan Farley. Farley might have had a step on Nicholas Holmes, but I think Nicholas was playing right in his hip pocket intentionally. Good coverage by Holmes.
Great coverage by Detective Holmes on that one, kind of staying right in his pocket. You've seen a little bit of hand tag going on as well. They kind of was able to slow that receiver down and kind of get him off his route just a little bit. So corners, that was like a perfect example, when you kind of keep that relationship, with the man that you're guarding, stay in that back pocket, and kind of create that, disruption. That way, it can lead to an incompletion on the end. So great coverage, by Detective Holmes.
3rd and 10 for the Hornets. 2 receivers to each side. Brooks again claps his hands. This is a bad snap. It might not have been a bad snap, not sure. It was into the hands of Washington, and he just chunked it away. Now that is going to be perhaps intentional grounding. He was in the pocket, and I don't think there was a receiver in the area. They're not going to call it. Not that it really matters, I guess. It kind of does, but with there is a flag down. I'm sorry, I just didn't see it. This should be intentional grounding, Gordy.
That was the first time I've actually seen that play ran before, so I didn't know if it was just a busted one.
Yeah, if it wasn't, it was a trick play. It tricked me, that's for sure. They're going to call it an illegal forward pass.
Just no one in that area where he just decided to go ahead and pass it to.
I don't actually think that's the correct call, though, because he lined up as the running back. He's allowed to throw it, correct?
Against the Hornets.
Either way, it's 4th down for Booker T. That'll back him up. 42 seconds left to go. Levi Brooks will be the punter. That was his first series at quarterback tonight. This is, again, where Del City hurt the Hornets last time. Let's see if Brooks can keep it away from the dangerous return men of Del City this time. It's a fake. Running to the right side. Del City was ready for it. Flag comes down, but the tackle was not made. Now it's made, and the ball comes loose out of bounds. Still well short of the first down. We'll have to check the flag. Most likely Del City declines it, and they'll just take the ball at the 43-yard line.
Turnover on downs. First down, Eagle.
Just waiting to see what this call might be, but
it'll be declined, I think. It was on Booker T. I saw the referee signal, do you want to decline it? So it was.
Well, the Hornets figured they'd take their turn and go ahead and try for the fake punt on that one. Almost able to break that one free, but like I said, with that penalty, that'll actually take them back just a little bit.
I think Damu Oko was the young man who sniffed out that fake punt initially. He did not make the tackle, but he slowed it down enough to where other Eagles were able to catch up. Had he not done that, I actually think that would have been enough for the first down because there was nobody else out there for that time being. So maybe a important play. We'll have to look back on it and see. Del City going to have it at the Hornet 43-yard line. That's the thing about that fake is now it gives Del City a chance, even though they have no timeouts.
Right.
They might be able to score before half. 35 seconds left to go. Trips to the far side. Overton back to pass. 4-man rush. It's a one-handed catch on the screen by Black Wolf. Black Wolf off and running to the 30. 25. Out of bounds at the 24-yard line, and a big gain for Del City. Moves the sticks, and that gives them a great opportunity to put points on the board. 28 seconds left. Only 7 seconds ran off the clock on that play.
What a one-handed snatch by Mr. Incredible Caleb Blackwolf. Able to kind of do it again. Like I said, you put the ball in this man's hands, he's going to do something with it. He's going to get you something positive. He only needed one hand for that one. So, like I said, good job by Del City, able to move the sticks. They got a little bit of time left to see if they can get a score right before this halftime marker. But like I said, good job by Sincere Overton. Get that ball out quickly, putting his team in great position.
Del City going to go quads to the far side, one to the near. Overton the snap, back to pass, pump fakes. Now he's going to take off and run. No, he's not. He's going to go ahead and try to throw to the end zone. A man wide open. Nicholas Holmes caught. Touchdown, Del City. No flags.
And that's exactly what you want, Cole. I mean, Sincere Overton able to kind of take his time, like we said before, go through the progressions and find Holmes wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. Great job, Del City Eagles.
A 25-yard touchdown pass from Sincere Overton to Nicholas Holmes. The scoring recap brought to you by Madison's Country Cooking. Go in there anytime this next week as the extra point is up. It's a line drive kick, not kicked nearly as good as the last one, but it doesn't matter. Same result, it's still good. 14-0 our score. That Madison's Country Cooking code word this week is playoffs. If you say it just like that, you don't really have to say it just like that, but if you go in there and say it at Madison's Country Cooking, they'll get you 10% off all purchases. Located at 4747 Southeast 29th Street. Remember, they have a Mediterranean menu, including gyros and kebabs. Ate there last week, had a great meal. you'll enjoy it as well when you go in to see Madison's Country Cooking. Del City set to be kicking off here. 21 seconds left to go in the half, leading it 14-0. One touchdown from Caleb Blackwolf and a touchdown from Nicholas Holmes from Sincere Overton. Overton is credited with 2 touchdown passes tonight. That was a big possession, Gordy, because I think for Booker T, they were, the fake punt, they might be looking back at that thinking, why did we do that? But I understand the idea of it, the concept. They know that Blackwolf hurt them in the return game last time, so they're trying to just avoid that all in general.
Definitely.
It just backfired on them that time.
Right. Like you said before, it's just one of those things to try to keep your team balanced on your side and keep the team off balance on the defensive side, doing everything that they can to, like you said, try to keep this, game neutral. But like you said, Caleb Blackwolf, has done so much, on the back end. They've done a good job. But like you said, I think Booker T would love to have that back because they did have a little bit of momentum going there. But Dale City able to kind of get that in the end zone, not to try to stop it, but Booker T will try to have to get back to getting something in the scoreboard to try to get them back in this game.
It was a running start return for Davion Durham. Boy, he is quick and shifty. If I'm Booker T, I would want to get him the ball as much as possible in the second half. I think I said that the last time these two teams played. And so far, he's only had the ball on 2 kickoff returns. The first one, if you remember right, was a good 40-yard return. This one only goes to the 31, and it only leaves Booker T about 16 seconds left. So here, if you're the Hornets, you probably have to be careful. You don't want to go down 3 scores going into the locker room. But Nate Goodman also, I know, wants to go all in, trying to win this playoff game.
Definitely. Done a good job of maintaining so far and keeping the score low as possible.
It's going to be a draw play to Washington. Washington gets upfield, gets close to the first down. Depends where they spot it. They're going to mark it right at the first down marker. That'll stop the clock momentarily while they set the chains at 9 seconds left. Now the clock is up and running. So that might be the last play of the half. It looks like Booker T says that's all right. We'll go ahead and go to the locker room. 14-0 our score in the first round of the playoffs. It's the Del City Eagles and the Booker T Washington Hornets. This has been it was an eventful first half, and Gordy, quite frankly, Booker T Washington has to be kicking themselves going into the locker room because they were in this football game. They can't hang their heads. They played well. They've got to come out and just find a way to get things going offensively to try to get back in the game. Now, on the flip side for Del City, they have to feel like, man, we had some missed opportunities. Whenever we took the opening drive down to the 12-yard line, it stalled. So they've moved the football just fine. For Coach Jones, he probably wants to see Del City have more points and execute better in the second half. For Booker T Washington, it's just kicking themselves a little bit for letting that last touchdown happen.
I think you hit it right on the head, Colt. Del City has put themselves, in the best position possible. And like you said, if I was Coach Jones, there'd probably be a few things out there that, they would want to see done a little bit better, a little bit more better execution, a little bit less penalties. But Booker T, they've had a really good, job of coming out, kind of really establishing, the offense the way they kind of wanted to, unable to put points on the board like they may have desired, but they haven't given up. They haven't laid down that last possession. Like you said, they probably wish that they could have back to, kind of run some of those plays again. But like I said, good job by them staying in the game and kind of keeping the score low and manageable. So I imagine the second half they might be a little bit more aggressive, but I imagine Del City will come out aggressive as well. So really looking forward to that second half to see what each team comes with.
Now, you will get to enjoy a halftime show here. We will have a treat for you. The Del City Palm Squad is out there now, so you get to enjoy that. And then after that, you'll get to see the Booker T. Washington Band, who is one of the best in the state, so entertaining. I get excited every time we play Booker T because I can't wait to watch their band. So you're going to get to see that. You're in for a treat. You don't want to go anywhere. Make sure you watch this halftime show. It's brought to you tonight by Madison's Country Cooking. Madison's Country Cooking, if you go there anytime this week, just say playoffs and you'll get 10% off all purchases. And also remember, on Thanksgiving, they're giving away a free meal from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is a really nice thing by their owner, who I got to meet on Sunday. We appreciate their sponsorship. We appreciate what they do on Thanksgiving. And so if you want a free meal on Thanksgiving, that's the place to go. That'll be your halftime show sponsor. The Del City Palm just wrapped up. Great job by them. And now here comes the Booker T. Washington Marching Band, and we're going to be quiet and let you listen in. That was big league. That was big league performance from the band there from Booker T. Washington.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Man, I enjoyed every second of that. I hope that you did at home as well. That was a real that's a treat. I mean, when you get to see that,
no doubt.
I would pay a ticket to go see just that.
100%. 100%.
Really, really good stuff. So we appreciate that. That was brought to you by Madison's Country Cooking. And, folks, we've got about 5 minutes or so until the second half will get underway. 4 minutes on the clock, but there's probably going to be closer to 5 to 6 minutes until then. They usually add a couple minutes for warm-up. So we'll take a quick break, let a couple commercials run. When we come back, we'll have second half football. The score right now, 14-0. Del City leads it. Booker T will start with the football when we come back on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business. And always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rollovers. If you've been in a wreck, don't hesitate to call.
This is why you need our number in your phone. This could be you.
When you call our firm, you're going to get one of us, not some paralegal or office manager.
Most lawyers, they take more money than their clients. Most of the time, a lot more.
We don't, and we guarantee it. Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes, call Rob and Will.
At Tommy's Express Car Wash, we know how to love your ride. Try the Works Wash with our signature 14-step cleaning process, engineered to shine and shield your car from the elements. From breaking down dirt and bugs with our Detox Pre-Wash to restoring your vehicle's finish with our ceramic body wax. Give your car the best with our Top Wash. Then complete the clean with free vacuums and mat washers. Download our app and get your first 30 days of the works for free. Tommy's Express. Love your ride.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rolling.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network, and halftime here just about finished up. We'll get close to the second half. 14-0 our score. I want to get you some scores around 5A right now, starting with who Del City played last week for district. The district champions of of 5A District 4 Pryor 25, Bishop Kelly 14, closer than people anticipated there. Carl Albert up big on Duncan 28-0. Newcastle 35-14 over Altus. Boy, I thought that game would be closer. Newcastle doing a great job in that one. Lawton MacArthur 36, Noble 0. So Del City, it appears, if they win tonight, will go on to face Lawton MacArthur and Lawton next week. Bishop McGinnis 28, Guthrie 14. Wow. That one I didn't expect. 28-14, Bishop McGinnis on top of Guthrie. A lot of people had Guthrie going to the state finals. McAllister and Collinsville in a good one. 7-7 there at halftime. Claremore and Coweta. Claremore leading 21-13 over Coweta. So that kind of makes you think that perhaps that district maybe not quite as good as people anticipated, as McAllister and Coweta both tied or behind Del City and Pryor's district in District 4. So good scores going on, a lot of closer games, only 2 blowouts really, maybe 3 I guess with Newcastle over Altus. Altus can score, so they're never completely out of it, but the one that's maybe surprising to most is Guthrie getting beat right now by Bishop McGinnis, 28-14. Both teams are on the field. They're starting to warm up. They actually added 3 minutes to the clock. There's 2 minutes left until we have football, so Gordy's just now getting back into the booth. We'll give him a moment just to regroup and everything. But 14-0 our score here, Del City on top. And Del City has they've had their hands full tonight. Booker T. Washington, so many people were maybe disrespecting. I'll use that word. I thought I might not, but I will. I will use that word. A lot of people were showing disrespect to Booker T. Washington. This is a good football team that has gotten better week by week. They've shown it tonight. Defensively, they have really given Del City a battle. The big thing for Booker T. Washington is they've just not really been able to move the ball consistently offensively at all. And, Gordy, that's been the story tonight. What really led to this 14-0 score is Del City had no timeouts left. Booker T. Washington had it 4th down at their own 38, and they decided to try to fake a punt with it being 4th and 12, and tried to fake a punt, did not get it. Gave the Eagles really good field position. They were able to cash in with a touchdown. So, again, if Booker T. Washington loses this game by a touchdown,
right,
they will probably look back at that play.
Definitely.
But again, that was a risk you're willing to take because you probably are doing it to try to keep the ball away from Caleb Blackwolf. So I understand the strategy. Again, it's just something that you can look back on as an armchair quarterback.
it's a game changer. Like you said, you hit it right on the head. It just could be one of those plays that could be, affect the outcome of the ball game. In a situation like that, you really, like you say, you try to do the most that you can, to try to subdue the score and where it was. But like I said, unable to make that stop. And luckily for Dale City, they had one of those timeouts in their back pocket, after getting off to, a little bit of a rough start to kind of, create this separation with this 14-0 score. But like you said, they have done a really good job, initially coming out, establishing, a good job on the running game as well. Like I said, the quarterback is really doing a good job. To be so young, Max Houston I'm speaking about, to be so young, he's really done a really good job not turning the ball over. Of course, they've done everything that they can, just haven't been able to capitalize and put any points on the board. But like I said, these guys have done a really good job to keep Dale City from racking up points as well. So this second half, they're going to have to create a little bit more stoppage, on that end. But on Dale City, for them, it's going to really have to be, trying to keep these flags off the field and being a little bit more consistent, on the score. So we'll see where it goes this second half, and I'm actually looking forward to it. Like you say, can't underestimate the Hornets, and I bet they'll come out, with a little bit more sense of urgency this half.
Dale City should be kicking off from, I thought, left to right. They are going to kick it off from right to left. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So they'll kick off from right to left. They'll be kicking into the north end zone. Rickland Holmes will do the honors. It's brought to you by the Dale City Chamber of Commerce. They've represented and sponsored all of our kickoffs this season, and we appreciate their sponsorship very much. The Dale City Chamber of Commerce is where the trusted resource for advocacy, education, and engagement to help you improve your business. That's where you'll find it. Booker T, one of the most electric plays they've had tonight has actually been on a kickoff return. They had about a 40-yard return by number 5. It's Davion Durham, and he is a pretty electric player. He's back to return this one as well, it appears. Dale City will have to be careful and watch for him. This third quarter tonight is brought to you by Bobby Lewis Insurance. Bobby Lewis has 2 locations, one in Choctaw, also one in Dale City. He has surprisingly great rates, and like I've told people for years, I tell my kids, I tell my wife this, it never hurts just to look. It's free. All you got to do is just give him a call, check and see if he can save you some money. If he can save you some money, why wouldn't you use him?
Why not?
This is a high end-over-end kick that will be returnable. It'll be caught by Durham at the 8. Durham takes off running, dives forward to the 26-yard line. Boy, it actually looked to me, Coach Jones is wondering the same thing. Looked like Dale City overran that a little bit, and Durham had a hole had he chosen to take it. Instead, decided to dive forward to the 25. Dale City might have caught a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not really sure if he lost his footing or what actually caused the dive, but like you said, a little bit overran by the defense on that one. Maybe able to get a little bit more yardage had he stayed on his feet, but good job for Dale City, to stop him short on the 25-yard line, kind of prevented, maybe a 15 or 10-yard gain on that one.
Houston back in it. Quarterback, huge hit.
Good
stick. He handed it off to his running back, Black Wolf, or no, who was that on the tackle? Rickland Holmes.
Rickland Holmes.
So Rickland Holmes with a big tackle.
Good job by the linebacker to come down on that one. I mean, not even able to break the plane on that line of scrimmage before Rickland Holmes was able to stop that.
Rickland Holmes, one of the most physical players in all of 5A.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe wouldn't be going on too far of a limb to say he's one of the most in high school football in general. Another handoff up the middle, nothing going. This time it's Andrews on the tackle. Jalen Andrews, the sophomore, making play after play these last couple weeks. Debatably, he might have been the best player on the defense last week at times for Dale City, as he was able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Maybe the only guy who was able to actually do so all night long last week against Pryor.
That's the truth. I mean, these guys have so much speed in general on the defense, but the linebacker core specifically for Dale City, like you said, Joseph, has just been causing havoc, these last couple of weeks, being like his counterpart, Rickland Holmes. These guys just really are really good about reading the ball, catching these backs, coming out of the backfield and spotting the ball, as far as for losses, just doing a really good job throughout the season, especially tonight.
Mark Bolds III also is in on that tackle, another sophomore, young front for Dale City as this ball is thrown out to the near side. Houston had to get rid of it as quickly as he could, and Draquan Wright came flying downhill to make that tackle. It'll be 4th down. There's an Eagle shaken up behind the play. It's Rickland Holmes. It appears he's okay. I think he just lost his helmet, and he was trying to find his maybe an earpiece or something that came out of it. 4th down and 11. Booker T will have to punt. They'll go 3 and out on their first drive. The Eagle defense came out soaring to start things here in the second half.
Oh, yeah. It looks like they're a little bit hype. Now, that's what I love to see. You know, you see a defense come out hitting like that. You know the halftime speech was something that they can remember. I said a great job by Wright on that last possession. Of course, you know, laying the hat down. And I've seen this throughout, you know, this first possession, you know, by Hornets. You know, the defense of Dell City has really been making these really good tackles and really been on top of the ball, really trying to get this ball back in their hands.
There's a false start on Booker T. Washington. That'll back him up 5 yards. This is where you have to be careful if you're the Hornets. This game can get away from you quick. If you punt this ball and Dell City's able to get a big return, this is just a dangerous territory here for Booker T. This is the first time in the evening where you feel like this game could get away. Brooks will be the one to punt it away. Clean snap. Good punt. It'll be kept away from Black Wolf, so that's a job well done to the 44-yard line. And so that is important because that gives Booker T's defense, which has been the strength of their football team tonight, an opportunity to get a stop and not allowing Black Wolves or Holmes to have a big return on the punt.
Definitely. Great punt by the punter on that one. Of course, like you said, doing their best job to try to keep the ball out of Black Wolves' hands, or, you know, the other returner as well, not giving Dell City the opportunity to run back these long punts that they're kind of known to do. But like you said, giving their team, you know, the best shot and the best defensive position that they can have to try to slow this the Eagle offense down just a little bit.
So Dell City's offense will come back out onto the field for the first time in the second half. Holmes and Chester out wide to the far side of your screen. Black Wolf and Holmes in the backfield with Overton, as there's going to be a false start. Could have called it on a couple different Eagles. Rickland Holmes is who they'll probably be the one to call it on. At center tonight for Dell City, I saw him warming up at halftime. It's sophomore Anthony Mosite, and he is in the ball game for Dell City. That has been an issue tonight, especially in the first half. Some of those snaps were getting to Sincere pretty slow, and I think that was what was causing some of the issues for Sincere in the offensive line getting in sync. So let's see if that changes in the second half. This handoff, it was a play fake, actually, to Black Wolf. Sincere kept it around the left end, and not much going, maybe a gain of 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 13.
Just nothing doing, but what we can still see is that the Hornets defense still hasn't getting up. We got a player down right now, kind of seeing what's going on with him. He's able to get up, thank goodness. But like I said, the Hornets defense doing a really good job, again, of trying to establish the dominance on the defensive line by stopping the run, especially those runs up the middle.
It actually looks like that was Davion Durham who was shaken up. He stays in the game, so he's okay. 2nd 13 for Dell City. Overton and Rickland Holmes in the backfield. Trips to the far side. One receiver to the near side. Overton takes the snap, back to pass. Looking. And he is sacked. That pressure came just as he was trying to throw the football. He was sacked by Dwayne Jones, junior defensive lineman for Booker T, and that's the 2nd sack of the night for the Hornets.
I think Sincere wanted to let it go just a little bit, but once he kind of saw those reads and kind of scanned his way across the field, just a little bit of cover-up before he was able to kind of get that on that right receiver. But like you said, just a little bit too late holding the ball, just a little bit too long. I said before he had a little bit of jittery feet getting the ball out a little bit earlier, but this time I think he probably had a little bit of talking to by his coaches, able to kind of go through his progressions, but defensive line again able to close down and get that sack.
Dell City again with trips to the far side. This is going to be a screen dumped off to Rickland Holmes. Booker T was ready for it. They swarm to the football. It'll be 4th down and 12 for Dell City. So they will bring out the punt unit, kick this one away. Both teams go 3 and out on their opening possession in the second half.
Number 1, Keenan Farley, able to kind of make his way through. And, of course, you know, we got number 20 as well, able to make his way through. So good stop by these guys. Number 10, Tyler Phillips, another one in on that tackle. These guys are doing a really good job of getting to the ball quickly. You see a lot of black hats around the ball.
Durham back to return this Rickland Holmes punt. This punt almost over the head of Durham. He's able to corral it and then hits a booming punt. It's going to be returnable, though, by Durham. Durham does a nice job of fielding it. Takes off running past the 20 to the 30. And he'll bump his way forward to the 39-yard line. Another good return from Durham. That's been their best weapon offensively, has been the return unit by him. He's made most of their big plays.
What a punt by Rickland Holmes on that one again.
A lot of hang time.
Oh, yeah.
On that. 7:14 left to go in quarter number 3. The Eagles defense back out on the field. A point I was going to make earlier is how young this defensive front is for Del City.
Definitely.
You've got Devin Joseph, sophomore. Mark Bold III, sophomore. Number 90, Damani Godwin, freshman. And then also you've got, coming off the edge, Jalen Andrews, sophomore. Boy, that's scary.
That's young. That's scary for next season as well. Of course, like you said, these guys each game have been able to develop, something new to add on kind of to their repertoire. But like I said, doing a really good job of playing together as a unit.
That ball's on the ground, and it looks like Houston was able to get back on top of it. Boy, I'll tell you, Gordy, what was odd about that play, that's the third time tonight that I have watched Booker T didn't appear to know what the play call was. The receivers were very uncertain. They were actually not lined up. They could have got a penalty for not being lined up, as we saw a couple times in that OU Tennessee game a couple weeks ago.
Right.
That's something that a lot of referees, not just in college but also high school football, are supposed to be honing in on.
Definitely.
But a break for Booker T, as they're going to sub in Brooks at quarterback now after that missed play.
Really lucky to be able to get that ball back.
Brooks claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass, throws it to the far side. If it's caught, it will be a great catch, a pickup of only 3, but a nice catch by McClellan. It'll be 3rd and 14 for the Hornets. Boy, that's about the best 3-yard catch you'll ever see.
That was a really good catch. Great concentration by the receiver, of course, on that one. They were able to kind of swap out those quarterbacks, and get, the senior back in just a little bit for a quick throw. Really long throw, just not really anything going as far as yardage.
Brooks back to pass. Facing pressure from Andrews, throws it just over the head of his intended receiver. Again, he was looking for McClellan. It was overthrown. Looked like there was perhaps a chance for a holding call on the back end. Andrews was rushing in off the far edge.
Right.
No call. It doesn't matter. It's 4th down, and it'll bring back out the punting unit. Boy, both offenses really stuttering here to start the second half.
Right. They decided to go ahead and go with Levi Brooks on that one. And, like we said before, we know Brooks has a really good arm, but some of these throws just a little bit over the head and a little bit off, just not really keeping the receivers in the game. But Booker T just kind of stalled out, not really giving themselves the best chance to get this ball game won. But, like I said, a good stop by Del City, able to kind of get the ball back in their hands to see if they can stretch this lead out just a little bit more.
Ball will be down at the 34. That's where Del City will take over on downs.
Del City came out just a little bit off kilter just that first drive, so I imagine they'll kind of get settled in just a little bit and kind of get back to clicking on all cylinders.
5:43 left to go in the third quarter. And again, Booker T just trying to hang on here, trying to keep this a 2-score game. If you're able to continue to get stops and cut it to 1 score, it gives you a chance. It gives you a fighting chance. Del City is able to give up 3 scores. It would, not necessarily end it, but it would really make it far the way it's gone tonight for Booker T to be able to come back.
That's the truth.
This defense has kept the Hornets in the ball game tonight. They played really well. Del City has not helped the matter because they've had a lot of penalties. Again, and that's been a trend almost all season long.
Right. Del City not giving themselves the best chance, but like I said, of course, they have the talent to kind of overdo those.
This is going to be a run left for Sincere Overton and a great tackle. Boy, Booker T was there quickly. That tackle made by number 21 for Booker T. That is Jeremiah Perry. Man, he is an athletic young man for a 6'4", 220-pounder.
He's a dog out there. I've been kind of watching him throughout the evening. He's one of those really good feet, really quick movements. Of course, getting to the quarterback on that one, making that stop. But he's just done a really good job tonight, of being a disruptor out on that edge. Just, like I said, a pure athlete, as you can see. A lot of speed, a lot of good size.
2nd and 16 for Del City. Rickland Holmes in the backfield with Overton. 2 receivers to the far side. Overton takes the snap, back to pass. It's a 6-man rush from Booker T. Rolling right is Overton. He's going to just go ahead and decide to run, and he's going to be hit hard again at the 35-yard line. Boy, 2 big hits on Sincere on this drive. Keeps popping up, though. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Eagles.
Like we said before, most of Del City's success on the runs are coming on these outside runs. Of course, Sincere deciding to bootleg over here to the right side, but Booker T has so much speed. They're able been able to kind of contain Sincere Overton, from getting these long runs that he's kind of used to getting.
Yeah, it's a little surprising with Booker T rushing 6 right there that nobody was open down the field. Perhaps somebody was, and I didn't see it, but that looked like Sincere had pretty much decided he was going to run because he had not a lot of time at all. Low snap, he's able to manage it. Pressure coming immediately, tucks in and runs, puts on a good move, stays on his feet, trying to get close to that marker, and he's close to it. He's going to be just shy. It'll be 4th and 2. He needed to get the ball to the 45. We'll see where they spot it. They might spot it at the 43-yard line. I think that's exactly what they'll do. It is. It'll be 4th down and 2. And if you're Coach Jones at Del City, I think you probably go ahead and punt this ball away, leading by 2 scores. You don't want to give a short field to Booker T, who's already struggled offensively tonight.
You're 100% right, Colt. I think they'll go ahead and punt this one off. Like you say, try to make this game a little bit more manageable. But, again, Sincere Overton, he's done a really good job throughout the game. And, of course, since he's came back throughout the season. Some of these throws, I think that was a design play to be a pass play, but he decided to go ahead and bring it down just a little bit early, a little bit quick. Had he taken his time, of course, like we said on some of those possessions, trying to get the ball out a little bit quicker, be able to get the ball in those receivers' hands. But, they go ahead and punt it away. Like I said, put themselves in the best position to try to keep Booker T at bay. But hopefully Sincere can kind of settle down and, use that arm the way we know that he's capable of doing.
That ball kind of came off the side of Rickland Holmes' foot. Goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Still a decent punt. That's where Booker T will take over. Let's see who comes out at quarterback for Booker T. They've been going back and forth a little bit these last few drives. I think they're going to go with Brooks again. I think that's the right decision because you've got to start putting this ball in the air and try to make something happen trailing by 14. The run game has just not happened for you. So I think this is the right call by Coach Goodman. This is going to be a quick screen pass out here to McClellan. McClellan makes the catch, gets upfield to the 34-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 4 for Booker T.
Nice little pitch and catch on that one to get him some positive yards. Once again, Booker T, establishing a good first down and actually, like I said, able to kind of get positive yards to get them close to that first down marker.
Trips to the far side. Receiver to the bottom of your screen here. Handoff to Micah Washington. Washington was tripped up, hog-tied around the ankles, and dove forward close to the first down, about a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Good stop by Draquan Wright on that one.
At this point in the game, whistles being blown, at this point in the game, this has to be 4-down territory as long as you don't lose yards for Booker T. Not sure what the whistle was. Was it a timeout? Booker T. No, not a timeout. 23 seconds on the play clock. Booker T's got plenty of time. I would imagine this is probably a run play up the middle to make sure you get the first down. Earlier I talked about taking a shot if you know you're going to go for it, but here I think you probably need to run it. It's I formation. First time we've seen this tonight from either team. Brooks under center, takes the snap. Going to be a handoff to Washington. Washington cuts back upfield. I think that's going to be a hold. That's going to come back. They got the first down. What's bad about that for Booker T is I think the hold happened after Washington already had the first down.
Oh, my goodness, you're right, Colt. Just probably, one of the better runs of the night. Is, like you said, the first time we've seen this I formation, by the Hornets. Able to get a really positive run on that one, but now it's going to have to come back, due to a holding penalty. But like you said, I think it was after the fact that he had already passed that first down marker. So that's just one of the ones that you wish you could have back. That's going to really hurt the chances of the Hornets being able to make a good drive on this score.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. The thing is about that is you run a play like that to avoid losing yards.
Right.
That way you can go for it on 4th down if you don't get it. And, boy, if you're going to do that, you kind of wish you could have just taken a shot if you're Booker T. So now 4th and 11.
No doubt.
Del City's defense catches a break on that play. Brooks in at quarterback, sending trips out to the near side. And I think this is a timeout by Booker T. Trailing by 14, this is almost a must-have. Still a lot of time left in the game, but feels like desperation time here for the Hornets. They'll take a timeout. We'll take one with them. 2:17 left to go in quarter number 3. Del City leads at 14-0 on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rollers.
This looks like you need our number in your phone. This could be you.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
We are back with you on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Big 3rd down and 11 coming out of a timeout by Booker T. That was the first of the half. Brooks the snap, back to pass. Pressure coming, picked up initially. Now Brooks has to take off rolling, evades the pressure. Now he has to throw a desperation pass downfield, and it's incomplete. Caden Johnson almost came in and picked it off, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 4th and 11. Due to that holding penalty by Booker T, now they have to send the punt unit out with 2 minutes left to go in the 3rd.
Booker T did everything that they could to possibly, try to make this a little bit longer drive, but on that last play, just really unable to get anybody open on that one. And good job by the Dale City Eagle defensive back set to kind of break that up, but just a little bit of a long route, on that, not really giving the quarterback enough time to get the ball out, into that 1st down marker.
Good hang time on that kick. It was going right towards Nicholas Holmes. He made a business decision not to catch it. It'll bounce into, I'll call it right at the 30-yard line, Del City's own 30-yard line. Mind you, again, this 3rd quarter brought to you by Bobby Lewis Insurance. Surprisingly great rates with 2 locations to serve you, one in Choctaw, 405-281-6700, and Del City's location is 405-670-3665. Del City's offense with another opportunity to go up 3 scores. And Gordy, at the break, I kind of looked at you and said, Del City better get up 3 scores.
Right.
Or if Booker T keeps hanging around and they're able to find a way to get in the end zone and cut this to a 1-score game, it might get a little tight.
Definitely.
Here at Robert Kalsu Stadium.
And that's, of course, that's what the Hornets desire. That's one of the things that, of course, every coach, when they're going against an opponent like that, knowing who the stronger opponent is, they want to establish that. And they've done a good job of keeping Dale City, from racking up points on the scoreboard and doing a really good job here, as we see right now with those tackles, doing a really good job of stopping these guys from making these long runs and, and long breaks on the offensive end. So, like I said, if Booker T can put some points on the board, we'll have ourselves a ball game. But unfortunately, they're just not able to get the ball in the red zone. But they've done a really good job of stopping Dale City from breaking this score up open a little bit more than it already is.
Looks like Dale City made a substitution after that play. Ricklin Holmes was brought down for a loss. So offensive line made a substitution, did not catch the number. 2nd 13, going to be a direct carry for Sincere Overton. He might be able to get close to the initial line of scrimmage. In fact, he'll make it a little past that. It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Eagles. Boy, their offense is also really struggling.
Just a little stagnant right now. And, if I'm Booker T. Washington Hornets, that's exactly what I want. I want them to keep the ball on the ground. I want them to run the ball. Of course, I want to get the ball back in my hands. But at the same time, they're doing a really good job of stopping these runs.
3rd and 9. We're at 40 seconds left to go in the quarter. Black Wolf and Holmes, should clarify, Ricklin Holmes, were in the backfield with Overton. Black Wolf now out at receiver with the trips to the far side. Whistle blown before the snap, timeout called by Del City. That's their first of the half. We'll take another break. 29 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-0 our score on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. 3rd and 9 for the Eagles coming up. Both teams have taken a timeout in the 3rd quarter. Dale City leading by 14, but it doesn't feel like it. This has not been a very good third quarter for either team, especially on the offensive side.
Been a little sloppy.
Overton out of the gun, takes the snap. Pumping, looking. Now he dumps it off to his running back. It's Holmes. Holmes doesn't have anywhere to go. In fact, he actually lost a yard. It'll be 4th and 10.
I imagine coming out of that timeout, that's not really the play that they desired as far as the receiver that he was able to go to. But like I said before, Sincere Overton making those quick reads, just trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly, but really just got to find some of those guys, on the outside in.
See some frustration setting in for the Eagles here. There was a little bit of extracurricular stuff at the end of that play, as there's a Booker T coach on the field and a Dell City coach coming out on the field. I'm not sure what that was about.
Not really. See Rickland Holmes down there a little fired up.
It was Jarvis Kelly out there. You don't normally see him getting worked up. That's the end of the third quarter. 14-0 our score. We just took a break, so we won't take back-to-back.
Right.
We'll go ahead and stay here, and Kelly's still having a conversation with the official here on the sideline. Something must have happened inside that pile that we couldn't see.
Definitely. It's getting a little chippy. Of course, when you got a game like this, such high-intensity game, of course it's a playoff game, so, there is some action that's going on. But, these guys both want it, and that's really a good thing. You want to see the guys actually care, about the win, But like I said before, you're going to get a little bit of chippiness here, especially in the game where it is right now. We're currently in the fourth period. So I bet you Booker T, they're going to really do everything that they can to try to get Dell City outside themselves and be a little bit more disruptive, just like they came out from the coin toss on.
Now, I want to give credit to the white hat official. He has gathered both teams. He went into the Booker T huddle, told them to cool it. Now he's over here with the Dell City huddle, telling them to cool it.
Good job.
I like that. It's a playoff game. He's probably telling them, listen, guys, I don't want to throw a penalty for something silly.
Right.
Knock it off. That's your one warning, and I think that's the way you do it. Job well done by the white hat there.
No doubt. Dell City, they can't afford to have any more flags anyway. So it's one of those things where you got to be, as far as the coach, you have to be in these guys' ear. Let's not get away from what we're here for. We have a next round to try to get to. We have to kind of remain calm and remain stoic and do what we came to do, and that's handle business.
Dell City will punt it away after all that. Rickland Holmes will be the one to kick it. This is the first play of the fourth quarter, and I think Booker T jumped off sides. It'll make it 4th and 5. I don't think that changes anything for Dell City, although Dell City has faked 2 punts tonight. They've been successful on 1.
All right. Booker T trying to go after, trying to create that punt block if possible. The best thing that they can do is try to create some type of turnover here.
That's a good point. I was going to ask you that. If you're Booker T, you have to start looking for reasons.
You got to be a little bit more aggressive. You don't want to be so aggressive that you get yourself kicked out of the game. But at the same time, on plays like this, you really just try to do everything that you can to make the ball go your way.
This could be an opportunity here as Durham fields the ball as if he's a shortstop in baseball. He takes it up to the 40-yard line. He's brought down there. Good kick coverage from the Eagles.
Great kick coverage on that one.
And we've got some punches thrown. I believe it was a Booker T player who threw the punch.
Just a little bit of overreaction by this gentleman.
The only Eagle, all 4 referees threw the flag. The only Dell City player that was in the area was Davion Oko. Oko's coming to the sidelines as if he did nothing wrong. But there was definitely a punch thrown by one of the Booker T players. I'm going to go back and watch my replay here. Gordy's going to watch the officials for me and see if he sees what they discuss.
Looks like they are discussing, trying to get these guys to calm down. Trying to find out exactly who that player was who threw the first punch.
I'm not sure what happened. I say there was a punch thrown, Gordy, and I'm not positive there was. After seeing my replay here on my screen, I don't know that there was a punch. There was certainly a push that looked like a punch by one of the Booker T players, but I think it came into the chest. But Oko did nothing. I watched him. He did absolutely nothing. He just came walking into the pile, and I think what he was trying to do is help one of his players up.
I see.
And I think maybe Booker T took that as kind of like he was coming in there aggressively, perhaps. So it could have been a misunderstanding. We'll have to wait and see what the referees now.
Well, I did say number 21, Jeremiah Perry, being escorted off the field, and not sure if that is just him being taken out for this particular play. But I did see number 21 taking his helmet off and walking his way off the field, not completely off. So not exactly sure what happened behind that, but knowing that Perry is one of their main defensive players, something must have had him involved.
They called it on both. So that really doesn't do much of anything. You know, and Gordy, I really don't like
the offset penalty.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well not throw anything at all.
That's the truth.
I mean, I get it. Once you get 2, you're gone kind of thing. So it's like a warning more than anything. But
right.
I don't know. To me, that really doesn't send much of a message. Brooks back to pass. Blitz coming from Del City. Booker T was ready for it. It's a screen. Over the middle. It's to the 45-40. Out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Huge hit from Rickland Holmes. Looks like that was 19 for Booker T. Washington, which is Tyron Taylor. I would imagine his name is Tyrone Taylor. I beg your pardon.
No doubt, but like I said, great job by them coming out of, a chippy timeout, to kind of establish, get right back in the, the zone, get right back into the momentum and get that first down. Like I said, Booker T is still in this game. They really have to put some points on the board to get it to continue on. We're in the fourth quarter, so not a lot of time doing, but they got to do everything that they can to try to make this a ball game.
First down inside the 40. Booker T in the best position offensively they've been in tonight. Brooks under pressure for Devin Joseph on the rush. Throws it. Had to rush that throw. Had a man open, but was unable to get the ball near him. It's second down and 10 as it fell incomplete.
Good job by number 57, Joseph, to try to come down on him with those quick feet. He's, like I said before, just been doing a really good job throughout the season, and this young man has a really good amount of speed for the size that he has, able to kind of track that quarterback down and get him off that throw for an incompletion.
Second and 10 for the Hornets. 11:36 left to go in the fourth quarter. Still plenty of time. 2 timeouts for both teams. Trips to the near side, 1 receiver to the far side. Brooks looks back to the sideline. Changing the play are the Hornets. 2 seconds on the play clock. They've got to hurry. Claps his hands, takes the snap to Brooks. Brooks looking, going deep. Has a man open. It is caught by Farley inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. It'll be first and goal for Booker T. What a catch. High pointing that football by Keenan Farley.
Farley just with great concentration and an even better throw by the quarterback, Levi Brooks. I said these guys are just doing a really good job of just keeping this drive continuing on.
Tempo from Booker T as they hand it off to Michael Washington. He actually maybe lost a yard on the play. They'll mark him, right there at the 4-yard line. He actually didn't get anywhere, so it'll be no gain on the play. Second goal from there.
Just a couple of missed blocks there on the offensive line. Have been Washington able to kind of creep and sneak that one into the end zone. Just nothing doing on the offensive line to get that push. But putting Booker T. Washington in great field position.
I formation. This is the second time they've done this tonight. It worked, but a holding call negated it last time. This time, it does not work. It only picks up a yard. In the backfield quickly was Rickland Holmes. He's the one who slowed Michael Washington up just enough for his defensive line to make the tackle. Third and goal from the 3. 2 plays to pick this up for the Hornets.
Such a quick, disruptive play by number 1, Rickland Holmes. Just totally blew that play up. Had he not even been there, the running back may have been able to sneak that one in. But great stop by Dale City. And we'll see what the Booker T. Washington can do from now.
Now back out of the shotgun. 2 receivers to each side. Back to passes Brooks. Pressure coming. Immediately flagged down. That's going to be a hold. And it's a sack. Brought down in the backfield by Mark Bolts III, the sophomore. Someone came raging in like a bull.
What a great tackle by the defensive lineman on that one. I mean, like you said before, just able to create that push and just congest that middle up, able to bring that quarterback down and just not even giving these guys any time.
Watching the replay, that is most likely going to be a personal foul penalty because I think it's an illegal chop block. There was 2 men engaged.
I see.
And the running back came in with a chop block on Rickland Holmes. Watching the replay again here on my screen. Penalty was declined. It's 4th down. That was the call. So now Booker T has to go for it. This will probably be just a heave into the end zone from the 15. They'll run 3 receivers to the top of your screen, 1 to the near side. It's Farley on the near side, man-to-man coverage. If I'm Booker T, that's which way I'm going. I'm going to give him a chance to make a play. Farley crossing over the middle. He's got it. Farley's going to have to get into the end zone. He's going to be stuffed just short. At the 1-yard line, the Del City Eagle defense makes a stand.
Oh, my God, Colt. Really just couldn't call a better play call than that was ran by the quarterback. Perfect with the crossing route, perfect timing, just unable to make his way into the end zone, but great stop by the Del City defensive back set to stop this guy right on the 1-yard line.
A lot of moxie shown by Farley as he tried. He gave everything he had to get that ball into the end zone. Unfortunately for him, one of Del City's best players, Caleb Blackwolf, was waiting for him, and Blackwolf was able to just keep him out of the end zone with a big hit. So Del City now, they have the ball inside their own 1-yard line. And if you're Del City, you have to be careful because you don't really, a safety doesn't hurt you that much. Biggest thing is you don't want to turn it over and let Booker T have a defensive touchdown at this stage of the game.
No, you're correct.
10 minutes left to go. And going to get a flag. That'll back Del City up about 2 inches, I believe. Yeah, illegal substitution. They had too many guys on the field. And Coach Jones might take a timeout right here. I don't know. If it was me, I would consider it just to make sure my guys know what they're doing, and that's what they're going to do. Timeout called by Del City. That should be their second. There's something they're not happy about. We'll take a break. We'll sort things out for you when we come back on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business. And always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Network. Del City has it inside their own 1 after a big defensive stand. Booker T had it 4th and 15 at the Del City 15-yard line. Threw a crossing route to Farley. Farley did everything he could to get into the end zone, was just shy. Del City now has it, and they have to be careful. It's going to be a pass on first down, and it is going to be almost intercepted. Was looking for Draquan Wright, and the quarterback on the near side, which was Tyler Phillips. He was in coverage on Josiah Chester. He left Chester because he read the play and almost picked it off and took it into the end zone, and it's he who is shaken up at the 6-yard line. Looks to be like perhaps a cramp. Hopefully that's all it is. 9:57 left to go, and boy, Del City.
That was dangerous.
Throwing caution against the wind on that play.
You really don't see that often, Colt, or especially, on that position of the down that it was on. Passing out of the end zone, it could be very dangerous. Luckily for Sincere, he got that ball up just a little bit too high for Phillips to bring it down. But Phillips, like you say, a little bit slow to get up, maybe a cramp or something. But Del City taking a huge chance in their, side of the end zone. Luckily, they didn't come up with a safety or an interception to, give Booker T a better chance of getting back in this ball game.
Here in a moment, we'll have some scores for you around 5A, working on that. I want to, again, welcome everybody who's tuned in tonight. Our Del City viewers who have been loyal viewers all season long, we appreciate you. We have enjoyed interacting with you on YouTube this season. And people who can't make it to the games, always a special shout-out and hello to you. Also, hello to Booker T. Washington fan. We have a lot of you tuning in tonight, and we do appreciate it. Though we are obviously a flagship station for Del City, we're a little partial that way, as I'm sure you've noticed. But we do appreciate you tuning in. Your Hornets have played a great game tonight defensively. They've battled, and they're giving Del City all they can handle right now, trailing 14-0, and have Del City pinned up. 2nd down inside their own 1. Sincere the snap. Going to throw it again. This is going to be a high pass looking for Overton. Overton jumps up. Great coverage in the back end. It was man-to-man coverage on an island. Owen Clark made the play.
That was some good coverage by Owen Clark. Like you said, guarding one of the best receivers, in 5A football in Josiah Chester. That really doesn't happen often. But number 27 possessing just enough speed, especially as a safety. You see this guy, covering a one-on-one coverage, doing a really good job, on that one-on-one with Josiah Chester. So good job by number 27 to be able to stop that.
So Del City being very aggressive from their own 1-yard line. Are you surprised by that at all, Gordy?
I'm a little bit surprised, Colt. I mean, really all they had to kind of do was establish, get themselves a first down and kind of get themselves in better position to continue to move the ball. But now they're going to put themselves in an even more difficult position with this incompletion.
And with that one, that ball was way off target for Josiah Chester. I think the only thing Del City was hoping for once that ball was underthrown so severely was perhaps a Booker T player would locate the football and get the penalty. It almost happened, but there was no flag thrown, and I think it was the right no call
no doubt
on that play. So now Del City has to punt it out of their own end zone. I would anticipate Booker T comes after this one to try to find a way to get on the board with 9:46 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Lucky for them, they have a really good punter in Rickland Holmes, and I imagine Rickland Holmes will try to get this ball at least to the 40. But Del City's done a really good job of stopping the Hornets today, but they're putting them in a great field position. So if the Hornets can kind of get something established, that might be exactly what the Hornets needed, giving them the best field position to start out with that they've had all day.
Yeah, worst kick of the night. That ball's going to be marked at the Eagle 21-yard line. Into the red zone almost is Booker T to start this drive. Still a lot of time left if they're able to cut this to one possession. I promised you some scores around 5A. I'm going to get to them quickly. Claremore 28, Coweta 26. Carl Albert 45, Duncan 7. Lawton MacArthur 57-7 over Noble. Bishop McGinnis 35, Guthrie 28. Close one there. Ooh. Pryor 32, Bishop Kelly 22. A little bit of a surprise how close that ball game is. Collinsville and McAllister tied at 14. They're in the fourth quarter. Newcastle 42, Altus 14. Boy, a little surprise there. And then the other game is obviously this one, Del City leading at 14-0 over Booker T. Washington. Back to passes, Brooks. Four-man rush, has time, dumps it off over the middle. It's Michael Washington who makes the catch at the 15-yard line. It is a pickup of 6 on first down.
Good little pitch and catch. Like we said before, starting out on first down with positive yards, able to get that ball out a little bit quicker, a little bit low, keeping it low, probably, try to avoid the interception. But Hornets doing a really good job of trying to move this ball closer to the end zone.
2nd and 4. Handoff Washington. Washington up the middle. Might have been grabbed around the face mask. Flag comes out. It appeared like he was grabbed around the neck from where I'm at. Draquan Wright was the one who made the tackle. I think the referee's going to call a face mask, though, Gordy.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to check it.
Just a little overly aggressive on that one.
Well, there is a conversation. The white hat and the umpire were looking right at it. The sideline official called it, but the conversation will be a face mask. It will stand that way.
Personal foul. Face mask.
Coach Jones doesn't agree with it. It was close.
It was close.
So it moves the ball inside the 10 to the 8, half the distance to the goal. First down for Booker T. Nine minutes to go exactly in the ball game. Del City leads it by 14. Booker T knocking on the doorstep. Brooks has 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Hands it off to Michael Washington. Washington with a patient run, hits the edge, into the end zone, touchdown Booker T. They're on the board finally, and they're in this ball game. This one might get tight as there is some talking at the end of this play. The referees get in between it. Hopefully no foul. Del City has to be smart here as this game is suddenly a nail-biter.
We got us a good one, and that's what I love is playoff football, and that's why you just cannot quit. We knew it would happen eventually. We knew that the Booker T. Washington Hornets would not be giving up this evening. But, of course, like I said, good run by Washington to kind of make his way out to that corner of the end zone. But Del City putting Booker T. Washington in perfect position. Only a little bit of yards to have to march to get to the end zone, but they gave it up and made this game very interesting right now, Cole. So I'm really able to see and really anxious to see if Del City kind of establishes a sense of urgency to try to put some points on the board this drive.
Dylan Carpenter with the extra point. It was good. 14-7 our score. We're going to keep it here. I don't want to go to a break and miss anything.
Well, emotions can get high, and that's the thing that I'm, looking at Del City and kind of looking at some of the body language by some of these guys. Yeah, you want you guys to get hype and you want your guys to get excited, but you don't want them to get outside themselves where they lose focus of what's important in this ball game.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be real. These two teams don't like each other.
Right.
There's no sugarcoating.
And that's okay.
And it's okay. That sometimes makes things more fun.
Definitely.
And, these two teams have had kind of a rivalry, even though they've not been in the same district in quite some time. But these two teams have met in the playoffs several times. They've met non-district consistently, I'm pretty sure, since I've been doing this since 2019.
Right.
And so, these two teams, there's no love lost. They've gone back and forth. Sometimes the Hornets have gotten the better of the Eagles, and here recently the Eagles have obviously gotten better of the Hornets, but the Hornets right here tonight are only down one possession with 8:49 left to go. Not many thought that would be the case. A lot of people did not give the respect that Booker T deserved. They've gotten a lot better since the beginning of this season. They're showing it right now.
No doubt. Giving a team opportunity to kind of stay in the game.
I actually was curious to see what Booker T would do on that kickoff. There's been a couple teams who have tried onside kicks and been successful. Instead, they kicked it away, and it went straight out of bounds. So Del City will get good field position at the 30. Again, it makes me wonder a little bit, is that intentional that they're kicking it out of bounds?
I was going to ask you the same thing. I'm not really sure if that was intentional or not. Had it been, I mean, would they rather have it on the 35 than, as to maybe having a possible return? I'm not really sure. But Booker T has done a really good job tonight of putting the ball, when they do have the ball on the field. They've done a really good job of making tackles and not allowing anything to be broken, on a long distance. So I'm not really sure about that one.
Well, there's no doubt that the return game was the biggest difference in the game the first time these two teams played. So maybe that was a decision that Coach Goodman decided on.
Right.
Del City in a huge possession offensively here. They need to make something happen. Going to be a quick pass to Black Wolf. It falls incomplete, almost intercepted off the hand of Black Wolf. Crashing in on that play was Owen Clark again, calling his name a couple times. I thought he was going to pick it off for a moment. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, they say, Colt, this is a game of inches. Had that ball just been a couple of inches higher, that wouldn't have been an interception, giving the possession right back to the Hornets, on their side of the ball field, which would have been perfect for them. But lucky for Sincere Overton that was just a little bit low.
This is where Del City has struggled over the last few years, is in tight ball games in the fourth quarter. Let's see if they can overcome this one. 2nd and 10. Overton bringing Chester in motion far behind the play. This is just going to be a run to Overton. That was all disguise, as Overton will go past the 40 to the 42-yard line. A good gain on 2nd down makes this 3rd and manageable to be 3rd and 3 for the Eagles. And boy, they need a first down desperately to try to keep their defense off the field here with 8.5 left to go.
This is a pretty important down. I mean, probably one of the more important downs for Del City at this ball game, since they're Overton able to do a, really good job of getting up that middle and, getting really closer to the first down marker. But this is an important 3rd down for Del City.
Overton out of the gun. 2 receivers to the near side. Overton tries to draw Booker T off sides. Does not work. 10 seconds to go on the play clock. 3rd and 3. The Del City coaches sending in their play. Del City's got it. Here we go. They've got to hurry. 2 seconds on the play clock. Overton takes the snap. Just got it off. Back to pass. Under pressure. Steps up. Still looking downfield. Now he's under pressure and he's going to go down. He's sacked. And a flag going to come in, and my goodness, that's a big one. This is going to be a late hit on Booker T, which will result in a first down. There's no doubt about it, folks. The whistles were blown way before that last throw to the ground. I think the Booker T player it was almost like a play of more celebration, and kind of shoved Overton, and Overton went to the ground, and they're going to call it. Boy, Del City with a break. Sorry, Corey, go ahead.
No. I was just going to piggyback on what we talked about earlier, just being a little bit overly emotional. Booker T found themselves in the perfect position, like I said, to just basically stop Del City short of making that first down, and almost came up with a quarterback sack, but just a little bit too hyper and a little bit too emotional, getting to the quarterback, able to knock Sincere down to be able to draw that penalty. Like I said, this is what can happen, when you can shoot your team in the foot, by creating, dumb penalties like that one.
So now Del City catches a break. First down into Booker T territory. This is going to be a handoff to Rickland Holmes. I would imagine you're going to see a lot of that going forward. But Rickland Holmes loses a yard. Booker T, they're still battling here.
I mean, they've just done a really good job tonight, of course, of stopping the run. Like we talked about, these runs up the middle, not really letting Rickland Holmes or letting Caleb Blackwolf get, too much going in the backfield, doing a really good job of creating this congestion. But like I said before, had they not, created that penalty, they would have been having the ball in their hands and been able to kind of take it the other way, or trying to establish a little bit of time in this ball game. But Del City's going to do everything that they can to keep the Hornets off the ball field.
Letting a lot of time run off the clock. That's intentional. 6:45 left to go in the game. Important to note, Del City has 1 timeout. Booker T has 2. And Del City going to get a procedure penalty here, which will back them up even further. It was already 2nd 11. Or 2nd 11. So it'll be 2nd 16 now. A lot of people tuning into our ball game tonight. If you're just joining us, we welcome you and appreciate you. we're looking at our numbers here, and they are skyrocketing after that last touchdown.
Dang. I like it.
6:40 left to go. This game was 14-0 until moments ago. Booker T. Washington actually had the ball first and goal at the 4, was unable to score, went for it on 4th down from the 15, and was 1 yard short on a pass play to Keenan Farley. Farley fought his way, couldn't get in. Then Dell City had to punt. It was a bad punt by Rickland Holmes, the first one by him of the night that was not good, and it gave Booker T the ball at the 21. Michael Washington was able to find his way into the end zone. That's where we are, 14-7. Second and long for the Eagles. Overton pumps, going deep to the far side of the field. It's man-to-man coverage. It's tight coverage. It's underthrown but caught. Caleb Blackwolf makes the catch. Blackwolf fights his way into the end zone for an Eagle touchdown with 6:19 to go.
And you hear the crowd going crazy right now, folks. Caleb Blackwolf, like we call him, Mr. Reliable. Sincere Overton with a great fade route. We had one-on-one coverage, able to get Caleb Blackwolf just the amount of space that he need. Kind of caught the D-back slipping just a little bit, able to get up and point that ball at its highest point, come down with it, making his way into the end zone. Great job by Caleb Blackwolf, and great job as well by Sincere Overton. Dale City up.
A huge sigh of relief from Robert Kalsu, Stadium's home side. Extra point up by Castaneda. It's good. 21-7, 6:19 left to go. A clutch play from Caleb Blackwolf bails the Eagles out. And let's not forget that 15-yard penalty as well. But Dell City back up by 2 scores. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Back with you here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Dell City 21, Booker T. Washington 7. Just as things got tight, Caleb Blackwolf with a huge catch, and he's able to take it into the end zone. His second reception for a touchdown tonight. Third touchdown pass for Sincere Overton. This kickoff brought to you by the Dell City Chamber of Commerce. That last touchdown brought to you by our friends over at Madison's Country Cooking. Remember, if you go to Madison's Country Cooking this week, just say playoffs, and you're going to get a 10% discount as this kick is going to stay in bounds. Dell City recovers it. Caden Johnson gets downfield and recovers it. Dell City will have it at the 16-yard line. 6:18 left to go.
Perfect recovery by Caden Johnson. Not exactly sure what the Hornets were doing, just kind of standing around watching that ball roll, but great timing and way to be, there as far as awareness for Johnson to give Dell City the ball right back in their hands.
Now, Dell City's coaching staff has to get a hold of their guys. They have not had a personal foul penalty unsportsmanlike other than the one they had tonight that was a matching penalty. They've not had one the rest of the whole season, if I'm not mistaken. They have to get a hold of their guys and say, hey, guys, keep your composure. There's no need for any of that.
No doubt.
And I think Booker T's doing the same thing. I see them over there. Their coaches are kind of waving their hands, pushing it down, saying, hey, relax. And so this game has gotten away from Booker T just as they made it tight at 14-7. Dell City back up 21-7. Just recovered that kickoff. That was a huge Dell City Chamber of Commerce kickoff.
Huge.
Maybe the biggest of the year. Overton takes the snap running right. That's going to be a hold. And that'll be, I believe, Arian Daniels who made the hold. Boy, I'll tell you what, one of the players for Booker T. Washington who I think already has a penalty tonight is Jeremiah Perry.
Yeah.
And he has been playing with a lot of emotion tonight. He has to be careful.
Definitely.
Because he came up from that play
just fired up.
Vocal. Yeah.
Just fired up. He's been, one of the guys who's been, a really good defender today, able to establish, himself on the defensive line coming off that end, doing a really good job. But like you say, he's been one of the players that's kind of put this team, in position, like they have been by shooting themselves in the foot, creating penalties, which, could have had a closer score. But like you say, got to control those emotions.
Booker T declined the penalty, which I understand you're trying to save time. It was a loss on the play anyway. He backed Dell City up to the 20. It was a loss of 4. Actually, I think that's intelligent by Coach Goodman to decline that penalty because it also stops the clock and you get the down. So Hand off to Ricklin Holmes. Ricklin Holmes from behind, tackled by Daniels. Now the rest of the Hornets come crashing in, wrapping up. They let go easy this time, no penalty. 3rd down and long again for the Eagles. Still a lot of time left, but I kind of thought perhaps Booker T might take one of their 2 timeouts there.
Yeah.
To try to stop the clock and reserve as much time as possible. They do not.
Yeah, lots changed, in the last minute of this game. So now Booker T is going to have to change, what they had kind of going on when it was just a 7-point spread. So really they got to, try to do everything that they can to try to get the ball out of Dale City's hands. But Dale City's doing a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground.
Dale City's going to run the play clock all the way down. They're going to take a timeout. 5:28 left to go in the game. It'll be 5:27 actually. We'll take a timeout with them. 21-7. Boy, out of nowhere the game got tight. Now Dale City sitting pretty on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
Back with you on the Oklahoma Sports Network. 5:27 left to go. 3rd and long for Dell City. Game's still not over here. Booker T has 2 timeouts. Overton back to pass. Whistle's blown. Something to note there. This is going to be a penalty on Dell City. Gordy, I don't know if you just saw what I saw, but Nicholas Holmes took off running to the end zone wide open.
Wide open.
And Sincere already had his mind made up that he was going to dump that ball off to Ricklin Holmes. That's something that if you see that in film tomorrow morning, you'll want to correct that.
Right.
That's the first time we've seen that.
That's what I was going to say, Cole. We've had quite a few plays like that tonight, and throughout the season we've seen, I think, when you're kind of a younger quarterback, you kind of go along with your first reads and, like I said, don't kind of go through those progressions. I'm not sure if that was just a design play that was supposed to go to Holmes on that one. But like you say, had they take another look at that film, they'll realize, the advantages that they might have.
Overton the snap. 3rd and a long way to go. Pressure coming from behind. Overton is sacked from behind. Sack made by 55 for the Hornets. Number 55 is Tayden Tolles. That is the 4th sack of the game for Booker T, and they'll take one of their 2 timeouts here with 5:15 left to go. So they'll at least get the ball back, trailing by 2 scores.
Right.
So again, the game not completely over. It'll be it'll take some kind of, not necessarily a miracle, but it would take a lot for Booker T to be able to do it the way they moved the football tonight.
Right.
And so with that timeout, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to run a couple of commercials for you. We'll be right back on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Last year, 35% of all auto accident deaths were rollers.
This is why you need our number in your phone. This could be
We're back. 5A playoff football, Dell City and Booker T. Washington. I'm Colton Fleetwood alongside Gordy Jones. 21-7 our score. Dell City on top. Dell City set to punt things away from their own, from the Hornet 35-yard line. The officials are having a conversation with the chain gang here because they put the sticks down. You still have to have the sticks up because if Dell City were to fake this, you got to know where they need to get. So that's what the referees are doing right now. Good catch by the referees. Some referees wouldn't catch that. These referees, to be honest with you, Gordy, have done a pretty good job tonight.
Right. We seen last week, it was getting a little bit chippy. We seen a few calls that were definitely questionable, to say the least. But today I think these guys have been really fair. Sometimes when you get in the playoffs, you kind of do get some of the better referees. But like you say, these guys have been really consistent tonight. Not really being favorable to each team or showing any type of, leniency. But like I said, doing a really good job of being consistent.
And I know probably the Hornet fans still not happy about that 15-yard penalty that was called. That was a big difference maker, as this snap is almost over the head of Holmes. He's able to get the punt off. It was a fair catch called for and then got away from by the return man for Booker T. That was Durham.
All right. But like you just said a minute ago, Colt, and that, is just a huge lesson for, anybody watching, especially players out there. Those emotional reactions, that cause these penalties can cause a huge difference in ball games like this. Mm-hmm. There's no room for, error when it comes to playoff games, especially when it comes to turnovers. But penalties can be, the one hindrance as well. And like we seen that with Dale City last week, creating these type of turnovers, on the penalty end can just be a killer.
So Booker T's offense needs a quick score. They've not been able to do that all night long. But they need one desperately here. 5:07 left to go. They have one timeout left. Del City has none. Brooks in at quarterback. He throws over the middle. Was looking for Farley. Threw his hands incomplete. Want to tell you quickly about our fourth quarter sponsor, because this is a playoff sponsor. They joined us for the playoffs, and we appreciate that. Our sponsor for the fourth quarter tonight is Hotella Construction, and they remind you that you are the coach and your house is the team. It's time for you to call a timeout and make adjustments. Your roof provides protection like an offensive line. Your gutters clean up like a good secondary, and your siding should be like a stadium packed with spectators, full of pride and excitement. Whatever your repair or renovation needs, Hotella Construction is the guys to call. This pass over the middle, perfectly thrown, and again dropped. This one was dropped by Jamian Compton.
Just not what you want to do when you're trying to win a ball game. We've had a couple of drops, back to back. Booker T really trying to establish something to try to get themselves back on the board. When you look at the clock, there's about 5 minutes left, so it's plenty of time. But receivers really got to do a really good job of trying to hold on to that ball and give their quarterback a chance, because he's getting the ball in there. They just really got to hold on to it and give themselves the best shot.
3rd and 10 for Booker T. 5 minutes exactly to go. In the shotgun by himself is Brooks. Back to pass. 4-man rush from Del City. Throws to the far side. Again dropped. 3 drops. This one was dropped by Farley. That is his second drop of the drive. And Booker T appears to be sending the punt unit out, and that pretty much concedes the ball game if that's the case.
Not exactly what they wanted on that one.
Now, I understand you don't want to just give Del City the ball at the 20, but in the playoffs, wouldn't you go for this? I mean, it's 4th and 10, 4:56 left to go. You only have one timeout left. I don't understand this.
Sometimes, when you have so much time left, coach is probably trying to take their chances, to think that they could probably get the ball out of Del City's hands just a little bit quicker based on probably the last possession that they had. But like you said, Colt, you really want to kind of put yourself in the best position.
And then take your last time out, because I think they second-guessed it.
Definitely.
Boy, that wasn't good. That was a little bit of a mistake there. Not that it necessarily probably won't matter anyway. But here in just a moment, folks, we're going to keep it here. I'm going to get you some scores around 5A. If you'll give me one moment and bear with me, we'll work on them. For whatever reason, Squirtle's website is running very slow tonight, and that is why it's taking me so long to get these scores. I did just hear word that McGinnis and Guthrie are tied at 35. That's what I'm seeing. Here it is, 35-35, Bishop, McGinnis, and Guthrie. What a game in the fourth quarter. Pryor, 39, Bishop Kelly, 29. A shootout there. That game closer than people anticipated. Collinsville and McAllister tied at 14 in the fourth quarter. MacArthur all over Noble, 57-14. Newcastle all over Altus. That's the one that kind of gets me, 49-14. Newcastle might be better than a lot of people were expecting.
Definitely.
Carl Albert over Duncan, 45-17. I think that's the one a lot of people probably expected. Coweta and Claremore in a great game, 28-26. Claremore on top. That is I believe, a 2. Claremore, what is that? Is that, if I'm not mistaken, Coweta is a 2 seed. So that would be a huge upset. So those are your scores around 5A, as there is a penalty on Del City. Well, I didn't see what it was. What'd they call?
Still haven't got a call yet.
I think they called too many men on the field. Wow. Is that what they called? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No, I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't see it. I apologize. I was looking at scores. 4th and 5, though. So that helps make this a little easier for Booker T. Andrews immediately came off the edge on the pressure, throws it. A great throw, caught for the first down to the 40. 45, Black Wolf is the only man to beat. Beats him to the 40. 35, Black Wolf is able to slow him down just enough in order to help somebody get back there to make the tackle. Jamari Johnson chases the receiver down. It was McClellan who made the catch and moves this ball deep into Del City territory to the 31-yard line. This game very much still alive because of that play.
Keeping it still alive, and a good pass by the quarterback on that one. Able to kind of get that ball out and just to get a little bit high to get it over the defensive back's head for the completion to McKellen.
Brooks hustling, throws it underneath to Michael Washington. Washington makes the catch. Forward progress to the 26-yard line. Good pickup on first down. The only downside for the Hornets is it was inbounds, clock still running. 4.5 left to go. Tempo offense, 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Brooks out of the gun. Del City with a 4-man front defensively, playing a little bit back. Brooks throws a jump ball, man-to-man coverage into the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. McClellan stares down the defender after the catch. Nicholas Holmes was in coverage. And this game not over here, folks.
Not over at all in the least bit. But, I mean, great job by Levi Brooks to kind of get out, keep his feet set. Once again, keeping that head up, getting the ball downfield and out of his hands. But it was some good coverage, on the end by the cornerback, but just not good enough. Receiver able to come down with that one for the great reception for the touchdown. Good job by Booker T to try to stay in this game.
4 minutes and 13 seconds left to go. Neither team has a timeout left. Extra point up by Carpenter. It is good. A line drive kick that goes through the upright. It's 21-14 now, and it's a one-possession game again. Gordy, do you kick an onside kick if you're Booker T here, or do you go ahead and kick it away?
This is a tough one. They've done a really good job of, being able to stop Del City, on the run. I imagine Del City will try to keep the ball on the ground this drive, but they're going to have to do everything they can to keep, get a first down. So they might have to put the ball in the air eventually. Yeah, if I'm you, like Cole, like you said, I'm not really sure if I want to go ahead and kick that ball deep and try to establish a better field position, and try to put the pressure on Del City. Because, like I said, one thing we know about Del City, they are dynamic and they are fast. So if you do give them a short field, they might be able to work with that a little bit better. So I'm not sure. I would probably try to go – I'm not really sure on this one, Colt. I'm a little indecisive.
Well, here's the thing. If you kick the onside kick, you don't get it. The situation's going to be relatively the same. You're just going to give up a little bit more field position.
Right.
So I think you probably kick the onside kick, because if you do, you don't get it. Either way, one first down is pretty much going to wrap this game up with no timeouts remaining, as long as there's no incomplete passes or anybody going out of bounds. So
definitely.
I think it would be the right decision. They are lining up like they're going to kick an onside kick, and oh goodness, Del City doesn't know what they're doing. Luckily for Del City, Booker T did not get out there very quick, and they didn't know how to line up themselves. Otherwise, that could have been a problem.
Definitely.
Del City catches a break. That's the problem, having no timeouts. Del City still looks confused.
Yeah, I think they weren't really expecting the onside kick, not knowing really what to expect, coming out a little bit unorganized. But now we see Booker T is going to try to see what their luck is like.
Booker T's got 2 kickers here that they're going to act like. Carpenter's one of them. They've got another one, and this is Carpenter who's going to kick it. It's an onside kick right into the chest of Nicholas Holmes. And Nicholas Holmes is off and running to the 40. Has some blockers in front of him to the 30. Walter Franklin leading the way for Nicholas Holmes. Nicholas Holmes into the end zone. Put it away! Say goodnight to this one. Nicholas Holmes with an onside kick. Returned for a touchdown with 4:04 left to go.
Woo-wee-woo. That's exactly what I was afraid of, Colt. Kicking that onside, you kind of leave yourself at risk when you have such athletes like this on the field. They can make something out of nothing. Booker T took a huge gamble on going along with that onside kick to really try to see if they can get that ball back, but even more phenomenal job by Nicholas Holmes to scoop and score.
The effort by Walter Franklin to get downfield and block as well. That was every bit as important.
No doubt.
So Del City, boy, this game was closer than they might have anticipated. but that one probably puts it away. Castaneda, the extra point is up, and it is good. 28-14, and that's going to be an easy scoring recap. That is a onside kick return for a touchdown by Nicholas Holmes, and that is brought to you by Madison's Country Cooking. And remember, at Madison's Country Cooking, all you do this week, go in there, just say playoffs. Get yourself some breakfast. They serve it all day. Say playoffs, you get 10% off your purchase. Also on Thanksgiving, they're going to give you a free meal from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So go check them out at Madison's Country Cooking. And, boy, Gordy, this has been a fun one.
It has. It has. Great job by Nicholas Holmes. This guy, you know, I enjoy watching him as a defensive back. I love watching him as a receiver as well. But, you know, like I said, once you put the ball in this young man's hand, he can do a lot of different things. You know, Dale City Eagle has such talent, you know, with a lot of these guys on the ball field. But Nicholas Holmes, perfect timing, right on the case again, you know, being another reliable source for the Dale City Eagles. Like I said before, Booker T had, you know, great field position. Going to, you know, deciding to go ahead and go along with that onside kick is just like I said, we talked about before. It could be risky business, but when you have guys that are capable of returning the ball like that, that's what happens.
Rickland Holmes will be kicking it off. And Booker T now hoping they can maybe answer with a big quick touchdown return themselves. They do have a guy capable of doing it. One of their best players, most electric players, is Durham. And he's going to have a chance to return this one. Gets a running start to the 14. Durham has a hole, stays on his feet. Rickland Holmes is able to make the tackle as he crosses the 40 to the 43-yard line. Good run, good return from Durham. That's the second time tonight.
No doubt.
He's had a decent return past the 40.
Good feet work by number 5. Like I said, we've seen he's, you know, possesses a lot of talent, you know, as a player. Just unable to break, you know, past the midfield line, but giving Booker T a, you know, great field position to try to see if they can put some points on the board.
So Dell City's defense now, you just don't want to give up a big play. You got to keep everything in front of you here. Make Booker T drive the field.
We've seen Levi Brooks, you know, throw some really good balls today, you know, especially, you know, that last drive when they were able to get it in the end zone. I imagine, you know, Brooks will try to continue on, you know, what he's been doing and stay consistent.
Brooks claps his hands, takes the snap. 4-man rush, throwing it deep, flag down. This is going to be a perfect throw. That was dropped. That's the second drop in the last 2 attempts from Jamian Compton. That ball was thrown perfectly to the back shoulder. I think the issue for Compton is he was trying to run over the middle and had to cut back towards the sideline, and that's what made it tough. Wouldn't have mattered, though.
Yeah.
There was a flag down for a hold.
It's coming back, unfortunately. But like you said before, great job, great throw by the quarterback, and great job by the receiver to get under that ball. But it has to come back. Let's try it again.
Coach Jones will obviously accept the penalty. I got to tell you, Gordy, after last week, no disrespect at all to Booker T. Washington. This has nothing to do with them. But after last week's game, it's just refreshing to see a hold on the other team, not named Dell City.
Right.
And
we so used to seeing it called. I mean, we kind of have grown to expect it here and again. But like you say, glad to see that this game has been called fair on both sides of the ball. So great job by this referee corps.
Brooks with a quick pass over here to Farley. Farley to the far side, thrown out of bounds by, I believe, let's see if I can catch that, Jamari Johnson. Jamari, the sophomore, has had a nice night tonight, made a couple good plays.
Right.
Second down and long coming up for Booker T. 3:48 left to go. Got out of bounds, so it did stop the clock.
Yeah, good job by Dale City in this defensive line tonight. Like I said, I've seen a lot of growth over the season, but like I said, tonight these guys have really established themselves and playing as a unit.
This ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Knockdown will be incomplete. It was Mark Bolds the third again. Boy, he's had himself a heck of a night, has that sophomore.
He's starting to get good.
Pass batted down by number 52, Mark Bolds the third.
Good for Mark. He's had a nice night tonight.
No doubt.
Dale City, you know what time it is.
Again, we talked about that earlier, this Dell City team, how young they are in their front. Their most experienced player in the front, if I'm not mistaken, is Gylan King, who's still a junior. He'll be back next year as well. The rest of them, freshmen and sophomores.
Right.
So Dell City will have a strong defensive line next season. Third down and long. Brooks back to pass. It's a 4-man rush from Del City. Throws it over the middle to Farley. Farley with a great catch and takes off hard out of bounds to the 48-yard line. It's fourth down, but at least gives Booker T a chance and reserves time at 3:39 left to go.
Nice little snag by number 1, Farley on that one. We've seen out of number 1 today, built at 6'1", 197 pounds, just a kind of prototypical slot receiver. Just great size on this kid, but great athleticism as well. As you can see, he's brought this catch in.
It should be fourth down. The sticks took off moving again. I think they thought it was a first down. They got confused. So it's fourth down. Should be 4th and 4, 4th and 3. And it is. They got it right. Good job again by the white hat. Adding more time to the play clock because of the mistake by the Chains. That's fair. The fate of the Hornets comes down to this play. They have to get the first down to stay alive, as this play will be halted momentarily.
Del City will elect to kind of go along with this prevent defense to try to see if they can keep, some of this spread offense at bay. So almost to a 2-minute drill for the Hornets, but Del City is doing a really good job of, getting the bodies on these receivers and not really giving up any space.
Now, I'm not sure what this discussion is about. Coach Jones is...
Let's put some more time on the clock.
Yeah, that's what it's about there.
Oh, man, it's got somebody's mother over there. She knows exactly what time it is.
I think it's supposed to be 3:39. I do think the clock continued to run for a few seconds there after he got out of bounds.
Right.
Good catch. Again, 3:38, so there you go.
3:38 remaining. Del City, get loud and make some noise!
So again, we'll do it again. The fate of the Hornets, 2025 season on the line here. Brooks back to pass, throws it quickly, gets the first down. It's Michael Washington. He dives forward, has the first down. So they remain alive for now with 3 minutes and 31 seconds left to go. Del City was playing very soft in their coverage. 4 guys would have been wide open.
No, definitely.
Kind of take a choice of who you want to throw it to. Throws it to his sure-handed running back, Michael Washington. Brooks the snap again, back to pass. Throws it to the far side off the hands of McClellan. Another drop. Boy, I'll tell you what, I know that Booker T has played Max Houston a lot at quarterback, and he's going to become a fantastic player. I have no doubt about that. But from what I have seen from Brooks tonight, he is a fine quarterback who just needs a little bit more help from some of his receivers at times. There has been, I think, 6 drops.
You're correct.
By the Hornets tonight.
Yeah, especially in this quarter. This is a quarter that you really want to know, and you want your team to, to be dominant, and kind of establish, what they've been able to do throughout this game is just being consistent. But like you said before, Brooks is just doing a really good job, standing in the pocket, going along and being decisive with these first reads, just really doing a good job as a quarterback. He just really has to have help from those receivers.
Soft coverage from Del City. It's a jump ball thrown up. It's caught. Caught by Farley again. Wow, good catch by him.
Perfect pass, by the way.
That was a corner fade route that was thrown perfectly from Brooks, right in between the safety and the corner. And it is caught just outside the 10 to the 11. This game, again, still not over. 3:09 left to go. If Booker T is able to score and get an onside kick, they still have a chance.
No doubt. If I'm Nicholas Holmes, I'm really frustrated because he couldn't have been in better position, but just such a great throw by Brooks. Just anything he couldn't really do about that one.
For 3 quarters, Booker T's offense could do nothing. Now they're rolling. Throwing to the far side, caught by McClellan. McClellan gets tossed out of bounds inside the 5 to the 4. He tried to stop to see if the Eagle defenders would overrun him. They did not. But a good play again. Goes out of bounds, stops the clock. 2:50 left to go. Still a lot of time. If Booker T's able to score, really within the next 50 seconds to a minute, they'll have a chance.
Right. Like I said, a good job again by Brooks, being very decisive, going along with his first reads and getting that ball out quickly, putting his team in the best position.
McClellan and Farley to the far side of your screen. There is 2 receivers to the near side in tight. Michael Washington, the carry. He gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Booker T. Boy, the Hornets are not going to go away. Scored in a hurry. 2:47 left to go. The Eagle defense made that pretty easy as they were playing extremely soft, which I understand the reasoning for it. You don't want anything to get behind you, but you can't just let them pick you apart down the field either, and that's what Booker T did. pretty solid drive right there, Gordy.
You're kind of 100% correct. And like you said before, when you're playing that prevent defense, you kind of give a little bit of a cushion, giving your team the ability to kind of get those first downs. And like you say, Booker T able to be a little bit more methodical when they got themselves on that side of the field by going with these quick reads and quick passes, putting them, themselves in the best position, to be able to kind of run that in for that score. So good job by Washington, but even better job by Levi Brooks, being a quarterback, able to lead his team down the field.
New viewers, we welcome you. It's almost unbelievable, Gordy, watching the numbers. It's like somebody's out there scoring this game, and they're putting it in on probably X or something.
Right.
And people are seeing the score, and they're immediately coming and tuning into us because the viewers twice have skyrocketed and then dropped. So we're getting viewers from our app. We're also getting them on YouTube. So this is the time for me to tell you, if you haven't already, download the Oklahoma Sports Network app. For playoff football, it's going to be very handy this season. You're going to have a lot of schools. We have 8 of them in the playoffs right now. Mm-hmm. And we'll have to see how many are left with OSN next week. But if you download the app, you can watch your games on Roku, on the Apple TV. You download the app, it's free. You can go in there and watch games. You can go back and forth, decide what game you want to watch. You can also go to YouTube and find our games, which many of you have. In fact, we have about 300 of you just on YouTube right now. And we welcome all of the new viewers tuning in. This has been kind of an odd game, to say the least. Both offenses have struggled. And Booker T's offense is all of a sudden found something that works here in the fourth quarter.
They've been clicking. That's what you see sometimes when you get into games like this. Booker T again deciding to go with the onside kick.
They have to have it. No timeouts left. Carpenter this time bounces it. It bounces high into the air. It's loose, and Booker T has it. Oh, my goodness. That was a perfect onside kick. Del City and Booker T, no timeouts either way, and Booker T's offense is hot right now, Gordy, so Del City, they're in a little bit of danger here.
That was like a perfect onside kick, as you said before, doing exactly what they planned on doing, bouncing off the player's chest. Not exactly sure who tried to cup that ball, but like I said, unable to kind of come up with that possession, just bounced right off those shoulder pads, right into the possession of Booker T, putting him right in the position, exactly what they planned on doing once they come out for that onside kick. This is giving Booker T the perfect opportunity to try to march down the field.
Now, if Booker T is able to score, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if they are able to score, you have to think Coach Goodman might go for the win. He might go for 2.
There's plenty of time left. There is plenty of time left, Colt.
Plenty of time. No timeouts left. Brooks out of the shotgun by himself. 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Del City bringing forward. It's a low snap. Brooks able to corral it. Now he's going to take off and run. He's got some room, and he's going to dive forward to the 40. Now Rickland Holmes makes that tackle. He's inbound, so the clock will continue to run. 2.5 minutes left to go and counting. It's 2nd and 5 for Booker T.
A bit of a fumbled snap. Created a little bit of hesitation, what was actually exactly what Brooks needed to kind of let those plays develop and actually able to get himself some space to kind of get close to that first down marker.
Now, if you're Booker T, don't get yourself in too much of a hurry. You still have time. You don't want to take too much, though. They're going to lose about 30 seconds here, maybe more if they don't snap this ball. Snaps it with 2:05. Brooks back to pass. It's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Was it backwards? No. It'll be incomplete. It was batted down by Del City's number 10, Cameron Dygert. He's a senior who's checked into the ball game. Makes a big play there. It's 3rd down and 5 for Booker T.
Good job by Dygert, able to get those hands up really quickly and knock that ball down. Not sure if he would have made that completion, but even better job by this defensive end to kind of be disruptive.
So much credit given to Booker T. They have fought and fought and fought. I thought this game was put away after an onside kick recovery for a touchdown by Del City. Del City looks to be lined up off sides here. If you look to the near side, no call. Back to pass Brooks. Throws over the middle. It's a 1st down. Caught by Washington. That stops the clock momentarily to the 36-yard line. Moves the sticks with 1:52 left to go.
Good job by Brooks once again. Going with that first read, getting the ball out of his hands really quickly, able to get Booker T. Washington the first down that they needed. Like I said, clock is ticking.
Booker T going to actually somewhat huddle up, a halfway huddle here with 1:35. They're not in too much of a hurry at all. They still have time. I think that changes after this play. Brooks claps his hands, takes the snap, hands to Washington. Washington up the middle, good gain to the 31-yard line. Del City, they're getting pushed back right now on the defensive front.
A little bit, substitutions have came in throughout this game. So Del City has made a few changes on the defensive line. What they really got to do is kind of get back to what they had going before, the same formula, and try to stuff up that middle, not giving anything up on the outside as well.
A lot of anxious fans here in Robert Kalsu Stadium right now. Del City leading by 7, under a minute to go and counting. Booker T taking their time. Brooks looking over the middle. It is caught at the 5, into the end zone, touchdown Booker T. A perfect throw to Michael Washington for the score. 49 seconds left to go, and let's see what Booker T decides to do, but that was an elite throw right there by Levi Brooks. They will kick the extra point, but if you're Del City, you have to watch for a fake.
We've seen this a few times. Brooks to Washington, just establishing just such dominance on the offensive end tonight by these two guys.
Extra point up. Extra point's good. Can you believe it? We're tied.
Oh, my goodness. We got us a game.
28-28 with 49 seconds left to go. Seemed like this game was over about 15 minutes ago. And all of a sudden, we're tied.
We're tied. Not exactly sure if Del City went ahead and went along with this man-on-man coverage on that last play, but we've seen Rickland Holmes matched up trying to catch Washington out of the backfield, but just a little bit slow reactive to that quick pass. Washington able to make his way right into the end zone. But like I said, Del City's got to really do a job of trying to, like I said, not give up as much space on these receivers. We know they have athleticism. So like I said before, they're going to have to do everything that they can, to try to stick to these guns. These guys have a really good amount of players on both sides of the ball. So this is where we see who's tested speed-wise to see if Del City can actually establish what they came to do.
This is the Del City Chamber of Commerce kickoff. Black Wolf and Chester back to return. Carpenter will kick this one deep. It is returnable. It is going to be Chester. He fumbles it, picks it back up at the 15, and lowers his shoulder, crosses the 25 to the 27-yard line. That's where the Eagles will take over. 42 seconds left to go. Del City has no timeouts left. Now, Gordy, I got to ask you, how careful are you here if you're Coach Jones? Do you really want to risk a potential turnover to give Booker T a chance to win it in regulation?
Right.
Or are you aggressive and try to go ahead and win this now? I think you play for overtime, don't you?
There's no timeouts left, so there's really not a lot of time left on the clock. But like I said before, Del City, they wanted to come in and kind of establish themselves, as the dominant team. But Booker T has the momentum going into this quarter. So Del City, like you say, the best bet that they can do is just try to keep the ball out of Booker T's hands and try to get this first down, because that's probably what's most important at the moment.
And it is going to be a handoff to Rickland Holmes. He's got guys all over him before he can even hardly get the football. He's taken down at the 19-yard line. And if I'm Del City, that's the last play I run in regulation. I take this to overtime.
Right.
Let's see if they will. There is a slight, in fact, there's no difference in the play clock to game clock. They don't have to run another play, I don't think. Does appear like we'll be heading to overtime here. Crazy, crazy game here, folks. If you're just joining us, it was 14-0 at halftime. Del City led. We are going to go to overtime here, folks. It was 14-0 at halftime. Del City led. Del City had multiple opportunities to go up 3 possessions, couldn't do it. Booker T. Washington had the ball. First and goal at the 3 in the third quarter, did not score. Went for it on 4th down at the 15 and came up just a yard short. Del City went 3 and out, had to punt deep in their own end zone. It was a bad punt. Went out at the 21-yard line. Booker T scored 2 plays later, made it 14-7. After that, it just kind of kept spiraling in every which direction. Del City had an onside kick, returned for a touchdown. Gordy, I looked at you and said, that's it. I said, good night. And I was wrong.
Right.
Now we're tied at 28, going to overtime. Insane.
I mean, we've witnessed, so many different changes in this ball game, back and forth with both of these teams, none, giving up. But these onside kicks is really what has, helped Booker T. Washington out. The first one, like you said before, we weren't really sure, if they were going to go ahead and go along with that, but deciding to go ahead and go again and attempt that onside kick, able to get that possession back and able to march it down the field to create this tie ball game. I think Booker T. didn't even see this one coming. But, like I said, Dale City is really going to have to buckle down. If they want to make it to this next round, they're going to really have to buckle down on defense and not give up any of these quick passes that Levi Brooks has been able to do.
So overtime, we'll have another coin toss here. I would imagine the referees might, well, let's see here. Booker T has a captain out there. Dale City, they don't have to send a captain. You can send the coach. Right now, Dell City's coaches are upset about something, and I'm not sure what. They've got to get it together because they're in overtime right now.
Right.
They're kind of going back and forth with some discussions. Now, I don't like to see that on the sideline here.
No, just look like I said, they may be trying to get on the same page. Just a little emotional right now, and I can imagine, the pressure that they might be feeling. But I think before, like we talked about earlier in the game, Dale City, kind of getting beside themselves, outside of the ball game, getting a little bit emotional, chippy-wise. And I think Booker T has gotten a little bit, chippy as well, but just enough to ignite themselves, to play themselves right back into this ball game. And like I said before, going into overtime, it's really going to be about who really wants this, Colton. This is a good ball game, but my fear is that Dale City is getting a little bit stagnant and, getting beside themselves. So they really got to kind of buckle down and just be a little bit more assertive on their end, to try to make sure that they can come out with the win. But on Booker T's, end, great job by them to continue to fight and make their way back into this ball game.
Not sure who won the toss. There's been no signal yet. So Dell City will be defending the north end zone. Booker T will take the first possession on offense. So I guess that's a good thing for Booker T because their offense has been rolling.
Right.
Here, they got hot. And Levi Brooks right now, the hot hand, he will be most likely the guy you see in action. If you're Dell City, the difference that you probably make defensively, I would assume, is you start coming after Brooks.
That's what I was going to say. I think they were being a little bit lenient on that last drive. Like I said, decided to go along with that prevent defense, able to get, like I said, just enough cushion. But like I said, you really want to go for that prevent defense when you're on that other team side of the ball, when you're on the other side of the 50-yard line. But like I said, once you kind of give the team a shorter field, you're just, like I said, letting them nickel and dime their way towards the end zone, and that's what Dale City was able to do by letting, the Hornets back on the scoreboard. But what they really got to do is, like I said, go back to what, was working that first half. And I said, switching the zones up with the man coverage, but you really can't give that amount of space up to these guys. These guys have speed, and like I said, when you have speed, you can't give these guys any room.
As you're seeing on your screen right now, a fired-up Booker T fan section. Not a lot of people over there, but enough. Probably close to 60, I would say.
Right.
They're making a lot of noise, a lot of momentum, all of the momentum, in fact, leaning towards Booker T right now. Things turn quickly. Dell City right now has to refocus and regroup. Now, one thing I want to tell you here, Gordy, from what I've seen offensively, and Booker T's defense made an adjustment in the fourth quarter to completely sell out on the run.
Definitely.
They are just saying we're going to play man-to-man coverage and we're going to win man-to-man press coverage, and they've done just that.
Exactly.
Dell City, in my opinion, if they're going to win this game in overtime, they are going to have to complete some passes, not just screens. They're going to have to throw the ball down the field. They're going to have to use the middle of the field. They've yet to do that. I think they have to do that here early.
You're 100% right, Cole. Once again, these guys have had every opportunity. I mean, they have, the better athletes on the field, and they've had every opportunity to kind of throw that ball around, but kind of choose to kind of go along with some of the same play call. But like you said, they're going to have to switch it up and try to put the ball in some of these receivers' hands.
Booker T comes out with quads to the near side, one receiver to the top of your screen. 5-man pressure from Dell City coming. Brooks going to throw a quick fade route to the end zone. It is off the fingertips of Farley. It falls incomplete. It was there, just off the fingertips, possibly a little overthrown by Brooks. It's second down from the 10.
That was a good throw by Brooks, like you say, just a little bit too long, to the receiver, Farley. But Nicholas Holmes is going to really have to establish himself as the aggressor winning this coverage. Got to kind of put a body on him. Got to kind of stay as close as possible because they're going to try to test him one-on-one. They've had a lot of success in that corner, so Holmes just really has to be ready for that. They're going to really try to go at him.
Change of personnel for Booker T. They're going to go in the eye. Washington in the backfield. They've yet to throw it out of this formation. Will not here either as this play's blown up. It's a backwards lateral now, and Brooks just has to go down. Boy, that actually turned out worse for Booker T, as that's a 10-yard loss on the play. Somebody came darting through like a raging bull, and I think, was that Andrews? I think it was. It'll be 3rd down and 20 for Booker T.
That could have been dangerous. Good job by Andrews, by able, like you say, get in there quickly. It almost looked like a design play after the running back was stuffed and try to pitch it back to the quarterback. But luckily for Dale City, they were able to stick to those receivers and not give up the big play.
I stand corrected. I should have known better. It was Rickland Holmes.
Oh, yeah, should have known.
Senior leadership steps up big. Anytime I use the description raging bull, it's typically Rickland Holmes. The future New Mexico Lobo. 3 receivers to the top of your screen, to the near. Timeout called by Booker T. Washington. Nate Goodman came sprinting down the sideline to get that timeout. That is their one of this overtime. We're not going to take a break. We're going to stay here. No need to miss anything in overtime. We have a lot of new viewers again. This is maybe the most viewers we've had all season long. Gordy, if you're Dell City on this play, what Booker T has shown me that they want to run is that drag route by Farley across the middle. So if you're Dell City, I think you have to be cautious of that.
Definitely.
And usually if that's open, it's because you're running a man and you get picked off in coverage. I think right here you might try to run a little bit more of a zone over the middle to keep that covered.
They're going to have to, Cole. I mean, I think you're right. They just need some help over the top, and that's like I said, Booker T has the success, in the middle area. And like you say before, if they don't get these outside receivers covered, it can be, end up very bad for them. But like you say, going to have to use a little bit of a zone, let these guys on the end man up a little bit and get closer to these receivers. But like I said, they will try to get the ball in the air to try to pick on some of these.
Brooks to pass, throws it. Man-to-man coverage to Chester, falls incomplete. No flags thrown. Booker T is shocked by that. The coverage was Josiah Chester.
Good coverage by Chester.
If I'm not mistaken, that is the first target they've given to Jacqueline Jackson. Boy, a big moment to give him his first target. It appears. Gordy, it looks like Booker T is sending out their field goal unit.
They try to put some points on the board. I figured since they just had the first possession, they were going to try to make something out of it, because the best thing that they can do is try to put some points on the board and see if they can get a stop by Dale City.
The kicker for Booker T. Washington is Dylan Carpenter, and boy, is this a big kick. There is a Hornet down on the play. He is down over there just outside the 30-yard marker. Not sure who it is. Do not even want to assume. Hopefully he's okay. That's one of the good things about tonight's game. It's been mostly injury-free. Both these teams have played extremely hard.
Definitely.
Very physical ball game tonight. And a lot of credit to Booker T. I mean, they have stunned me a little bit. I thought this game would be closer. Obviously Dell City won 38-7 earlier this season in non-district. I thought Booker T would compete tonight. I did not think this game would be in overtime at this point in the game. But this is a big field goal here. This is about a 40-yarder, Gordy, for Dylan Carpenter. Carpenter does appear to have a big leg. He's a senior. Dell City playing a safe coverage here. Snap is clean. Kick is up. Kick is plenty long enough, and it is good. So Booker T's defense, as long as they don't give up a touchdown, are going to shock the state of Oklahoma and move on to the second round of the playoffs. On the flip side, if Dell City's offense is able to score a touchdown or match, if they match, we'll keep playing. They score a touchdown, Dell City will advance.
Huge point of the game for the Eagles. This is what you really love about this game. Said they have the best position. This is what some of these kids dream about their whole life. I said you're in a playoff setting. You have the ball in your hands. You have control. Like I said, so it's really up to Dale City to see if they can do what they've done throughout this ball game, and that's put the ball in the end zone. But they have to be consistent. They have to get some blocking, and they cannot turn the ball over.
Dell City's offense coming on to the field. Immediately coming out with trips to the near side, 2 to the far side. Chester and Holmes are on the far side of your screen. Black Wolf in the slot. Nicholas Holmes and Walter Franklin out of him. Chester to pass. has time, looking, takes off running, throws into the end zone, wide open, touchdown, Black Wolf! Ball game over! Del City advances, they survive! One play from the offense and they put it away! Oh, baby!
Congratulations to the Del City Eagles, able to finish that game off. But, I mean, great show by Booker T. Washington as well. The Hornets came to play, and they put up a great fight, taking Del City all the way to the wire. But once again, Mr. Reliable, Caleb Blackwolf, even great pass by Sincere Overton to get these guys the victory and move on to the second round.
No surprise it was Caleb Blackwolf. That young man has had one heck of a night. Quite frankly, with all due respect, he owns Booker T. Washington.
He does. He does. I mean, they're going to see number 5 in their nightmares and in all their dreams, and especially all these highlights. Caleb Blackwolf, great job by this young man. Great job by the Del City Eagles to not stop fighting and give all that they could to, keep themselves on this pathway to the championship.
This is an interesting handshake. Two teams that do not like each other one bit.
Hard-fought battle, though.
But you do like to see them shake it up. What a game. I mean, unbelievable performance by Booker T. Washington. I can't say that enough. Have to give so much credit to them.
Definitely.
And, boy, this was a lot closer than we thought it would be, Gordy. And the final score is 34-31 in overtime. Del City survives. And Coach Jones can sleep a little better tonight. It was not looking good. Booker T went into overtime with a lot of momentum and confidence. Del City was almost hanging their heads. From up here in the booth, Gordy, I didn't think Del City was going to walk away with a win, and after it got to overtime.
Oh, well, you just really never know, and that's what's so exciting about football, especially when you get into overtime. You just really never know whose game is going to be, Colt. So like you say, it kind of leaves you a little bit more unsure of yourself and indecisive about what the outcome might be. But, we know Del City has a strong squad. We know both of these teams, as we've seen today, they don't give up on the fight, So, like I said before, really enjoyable game, really good job by both teams, to not give up. But like I said, Del City learned a lesson today, and I'm sure this has changed the dynamic of their team. Like I said before, Del City knows what to do when they get into a situation like this. So from now on, they're going to know that you're going to have to buckle down if you want to come along with the victory, especially in a playoff setting.
So, Gordy, we'll send you on the field.
All right.
Go get you an interview. We're going to take a moment here to pause and find out who our player of the game is. The final tonight, 34-31. Del City survives and will advance to the second round over Booker T. Washington. We'll be right back with an interview from Coach Robert Jones and our player of the game on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Back live with you here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And Jacoby Brosi going to join me here as my producer, while Blake Unruh and my partner Gordy Jones are going to head down to the field to get an interview with head coach Robert Jones and our player of the game. And our player of the game tonight, we are so proud. It's actually going to be the first time anybody's won it twice in one season. But I think this is maybe the most deserving player to get it for a second time. We're going to give it to Caleb Blackwolf, his second time to win it this season. I think it's his third time as an Eagle. He won one last season. The player of the game is brought to you by the Robert Kalsu Legacy Group, whose mission is to preserve and promote the incredible and inspiring story of Del City's Robert Kalsu, a true All-American hero. And I can tell you right now, Robert Kalsu would be smiling very happily to give this award to Caleb Blackwolf, who put the Eagles on his back, quite frankly, at moments of tonight's game, saving Del City. 3 touchdowns from Caleb. And Del City survives 34-31 in overtime over Booker T. Washington. Coach Jones talking to his team, and then shortly after that, he will come and join us for an interview. I want to take this time to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We've had a lot of fans from Booker T. Washington. we appreciate you. You guys were very friendly. You know, we were looking at the YouTube chat, and I know I didn't get to you. It was such a close game. I didn't get a chance to really interact like I normally do, but they were very friendly, and there was nobody taking shots. A lot of times we get in these close games, and we're the flagship station for Del City, and so sometimes hard feelings come about in the heat of battle. We didn't have any of that tonight. Appreciate you tuning in. To our loyal Del City listeners and viewers, we appreciate you. This has been such a joy this season. This is my sixth year out of the 7 with Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Sports Network has been covering Del City. I've been here 6 out of the 7, and I enjoy every moment of it. This is, at this point in my life, this is kind of my New York Yankee broadcasting job, and so I appreciate that you guys allow me to do this, and always appreciate interacting with you. Coach Jones is starting to make his way over to Gordy Jones. So I will go ahead and just send it right on down and not waste any time. Oh, we'll give it one moment here. Coach Jones going to go grab the player of the game, which is Caleb. So we'll wait just a moment. The game-winning touchdown play brought to you by Madison's Country Cooking. Sincere Overton found Caleb Blackwolf in the back of the end zone for a walk-off touchdown. The Eagles will face Lawton MacArthur next week, and we'll send it down onto the field to Gordy Jones with head coach Robert Jones.
All right, we're here. Coach Jones with the barn burner overtime victory against a historic team like Booker T. Washington, against another historic team like the Del City Eagles. Coach, tell me what you expected going into this game and how you feeling right now.
Well, I knew it would be a dogfight. We beat them early in the year. We caught them kind of when they didn't have number 13. The Jones kid, he has SEC offers. He's a big-time player. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the state. They also have a receiver, number 1. He's a big-time Division I kid. So I felt like we caught him early. And I just watched him all week, man. All year, and I kept seeing him get better and better and better. And I knew we were going to be in for a dogfight. That's one of them character wins. We got seat up on the back of our jerseys. We got the lead. We had a fight back. We went to overtime. Probably one of the most stressful games I've ever been in, but I just told our kids we got to believe in all the stuff we work. We got to believe in all the character and we talk about every day, all the things we do in the summer, all the character talks we do. And then when you do things right, you work hard, I feel like you get rewarded, and we got rewarded tonight.
I totally agree, Coach.
Absolutely.
And like you said, when you establish that type of dominance like that, and like you're saying, you become consistent on that end, like you said before, going into a game like this, it just sharpens the iron.
Yeah.
Going into a difficult game like this, like I said, next week, you guys are going to be battling Lawton Mack.
Yeah.
What's the mindset that you want to take from this game into bleeding over into that game?
Well, our mindset all week was we need to be 1-0. So next week, we need to be 1-0. We're taking a week at a time. We're going to rest and enjoy it this week. Enjoy this weekend, get some rest, and get a game plan for Lawton Mack. But we got to be 1-0, and we got to, once we get back Monday, we got to let this go because it's a new game against Lawton Mack. They're a great team just like this. They're very athletic. They have a couple Division I guys. We just got to keep fighting and getting better. Each week we got to get better. These type of wins not only build character, but it builds a brotherhood. When you win like this, you feel like you can win any game. So we're just thankful, man. We're thankful to be in this opportunity.
I'm thankful to be here with you, to actually witness it. Because I said I want to talk about not only our player of the game today, Caleb Blackwolf, but Sincere Overton, about Rickland Holmes, about Josiah Chester, about Walter Franklin, the offense of Del City. Like I said before, they just faced the defensive line today that they really haven't, faced throughout the year. So it's like I said, going through adversity, going against a team like that, when you have an established offense like you guys do, and then you face, such tough players on the defensive end, is there any special message, having such history on the offensive side of the ball for yourself, is there any advice that you give to these guys?
I just tell them, hang in there and keep fighting, and then when your number's called, make a play. And Caleb's a great player. We came to him, and he just made a great play. He's been doing that all year. That's just who he is. He gets 3 touchdowns tonight. But some of those touchdowns, with the first one, Josiah and some of those guys got some great blocks. So it's just one of those things that you just got to keep fighting against a great team like that. Then when you get the opportunity, you got to make plays. Even Nick Holmes making that kickoff return after getting beat a couple times, he made a big-time kickoff return. And then just making plays in overtime. I can't stress enough how big that was to hold them out and fight back after they stunned us and get the onside kick, and too bad to handle those emotions and come back. That just shows we really have established some character here over the last 5 years, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to hope we get able to go 2-0 next week. We'll go 1-0 against Lawton Mack.
I believe that they can do it.
Yes, sir.
They were a little bit worried up in the booth when we got into this overtime, but kind of knowing what I know about you and what I know about the Eagles, I was a little bit less nervous. I kind of had confidence in these young men to be able to do what they can. And so, like I said, really impressive victory by you. We had a lot of people tuning in to watch you, do your thing and watch your team, do what they do all the time. But like I said, Dale City, congratulations to you today. And like I said before, great job on making it to the second round of the playoffs. So look forward to seeing you next week, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thanks, bro.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, sir. Okay, look. All right, we'll take one moment. We'll bring in our player of the game, Mr. Black Wolf. Second time that we've seen each other today. I mean, Caleb, one of our favorite things is to talk about you when we're in the booth, me and my partner Cole. But, Caleb, throughout the season, you've done something each game, not showing, that you're just a one-trick pony or that, you are only playing on one side of the ball. You bring the intensity on the defensive side of the ball. You bring the intensity on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, as far as watching a player, and establishing what you have so many weapons on the field. But like I said, as an individual, like I asked you before, what's the mindset that you come into a regular game, but what mindset do you come into a playoff game as far as leadership goes?
My mindset for every game is just to kill. That's all of it. Just to give these seniors a national championship, and then we can leave our legacy behind.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Well, Caleb, you have ran this team, and done all that you can to put the team on your back in high pressure moments like you had today. When you're going into a team, like Booker T. Washington, and playing against a team like this, is there anything that's different as far as conversation between you and your teammates when you're in a pressure situation, like you guys were in the fourth quarter?
Like Coach said, there's only 2 types of people that's going to come up to the pressure. The people that's going to be a dog or the people that's going to carry down. And we all came up to the hype, and then we all came to the dog.
And I really appreciate you saying that, because you got that dog, and like I said, the rest of your teammates do as well. And Caleb, you just done such a really good job throughout the season, and an even better job tonight. Great job with the overtime touchdown, but great job throughout the game, like I said, on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Just so impressive. Going into next week, you guys face against Lawton Mack. Is there anything, as far as mindset that I know you want to enjoy tonight's victory, but is there anything that you already have in your mind that you're getting ready for this next round?
Man, just to go kill, like I said, and then just have everybody rest, watch film over them, and we'll be up here tomorrow getting some extra work in.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you. Can't wait to see you. So we'll bring we got Blake in to give you another Player of the Game trophy, the Robert Calsuit Player of the Game, presented to Caleb Blackwolf, the great number 5. But like I said, man, I can't wait to go home and watch the highlights of what you did today. But like I said, continue to do what you do and be great, young man. And I appreciate your time, Caleb.
I appreciate you.
Hey, great job, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. OSN, Gordy Jones, back to you guys.
All right, Gordy, thank you, sir. Good job as always. Good job, Caleb. Man, I got to tell you, my dad just texted me and said, if I'm a Division I football coach, I want Caleb Blackwolf on my team. And I cannot disagree with that one bit. I would be all over it. I think the offers will be pouring in before too long, and I'm just excited we get to see him play again next year here for Del City. What a game for him. First time in Del City history that a player has won 2 Robert Calsu Player of the Game awards in one season. We normally do not do that. This is the first season we have done it. Caleb, the most deserving guy we've ever seen. Big playoff game for him tonight. Del City wins at 34-31 in overtime. They survive. What an unbelievable game, and we enjoyed it. We'll look forward to next week. We will make the trip to Lawton MacArthur and have the broadcast for you, so be sure you tune in right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. I'm Colton Fleetwood. Gordy Jones was my partner tonight. Jacoby Brosi manned the camera. Our producer tonight was Del City student Blake Unruh. We want to wish you a good night and a good weekend. We'll see you next week right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.